and white. Black and white. It's black and white. It's black and white.
Hello again, everybody. Hello. It's like we never went anywhere, isn't it? Chaz, Draycott and Ed May here for what is literally the final ever live broadcast here on Simracersworld TV. The DynamiXX Endurance Series is into its final couple of hours now, into the final quarter, in fact. 3 hours left to go of this race, and we are in the middle of a wonderful, wonderful race here at one of the most legendary circuits in the world. And to be fair, Ed, we've seen a lot of great racing so far. It's certainly been a fun day for it. You started the broadcast with me, and now back once again.
Yeah, definitely. You can't keep me out the comments box for long, can you, Chaz? You had a bit of rest from me, but now I'm here for the final 3 hours of this already amazing DynamiXX Racing Simulator's final round here at Spa. I mean, to be fair, the 6 hours that I wasn't here absolutely flew by. I've been looking forward to getting back into the comms box to round out our time here on Simracersworld TV, and it's lovely to see the sun beginning to set and get one final time on Simracersworld TV to appreciate these paints, especially now in this amazing day to night transition. The last few moments of daylight starting to creep in before the race will finish under the lights.
Indeed it will. And we get the wonderful, wonderful effects here of the sun going down, the headlights coming on, and great racing being with us. So, Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports currently lead the way. Jeremy DeBova in second place for McChallenge by DB. God, it looks slow then coming down the Kemmel Straight like that, doesn't it? But I can assure you, it is not slow at all. Third place is Bart Parry in the DynamiXX pink car. There you can see the real silhouette of the car against the very shiny track surface here at Spa. And Joshua Campfield is fourth in the Sim District GT3 by BMS Esport Audi, which now does have a livery on it thanks to the paint pack with its number board and all sorts. And then Dirk Bouts is currently in fifth. My team of the race so far, I must say, Ed, is this McChallenge by DB car, the number 4 machine. They've been absolutely awesome so far through this race. Most places gained up 7 spots to get to second. That's a really good effort considering how competitive this field is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Jerry DeBova and all of those drivers in that number 4 car, they've done such a great job to get where they are now, and it looks like it will continue that way. I mean, they've got 50 seconds to Bart Parry in third place. But to be fair, that DynamiXX pink car hasn't been too bad either, Chaz. I've been really excited to see them do well in this race. I mean, they've had some great battles in the early phase of it, and now they've started to, I guess, settle in now. I think everyone's started to sort of settle in. The driver that I haven't seen before, though, Chaz, on the track at the moment, is this man, Joshua Campfield. guessing he was doing a few stints earlier, but this is the first time I've seen him, at least, in this series.
Yeah, indeed. He was a new name suddenly popped up on our screens when the Sim District Audi came in for a pit stop earlier on. And he's been doing all right, to be fair to him. You know, he's been on the pace of everybody else. He's quicker than the car behind him and quicker than the car ahead of him as well. 1.6 seconds quicker than Bart Paré at the moment. So he's going really well, considering that car has damage after a bit of a scuff with the wall down at Pouhon. He's doing all right. I wanted to touch on the off-track situation as well, because earlier on we were talking about how the guys were getting a lot of off-tracks in the software, and Hassa and I were talking about it. Well, most of them have over 200 now, but Olivier Bultink has 568, which is obviously not correct. To be
Definitely
fair,
not.
They could probably get that many and still lead the race at that far ahead.
Yeah, I think that's down to, I don't know why it's calculating them so weirdly, like so differently as well from the iRacing sort of service compared to our SDK software. So that's very strange. I'm guessing they're using the older version of Spa that was very, very sort of unforgiving, shall we say, in terms of its track limits, especially through Campus and Stavolo, and then as well up through Speaker's Corner. It was always a nightmare through there just to try and keep it within the what iRacing deems to be the confines of the circuit, rather than what you would deem the confines of the circuit to be. And I'm guessing they haven't updated it to the, I guess, the newer sort of track limits stance that iRacing take on these circuits now.
No, I don't think so. But to be honest, I don't actually know when it sort of applies and when it doesn't in the sim, if I'm honest with you. I think sometimes, sorry, not in the sim, in SDK. I think it's just whenever they do literally go on like a runoff area or something, because I'm not sure why it would sort of calculate it differently to what the sim's doing, but it is what it is, unfortunately. We have to live with it. Yeah, and Scott McFall says there are 7 incidents each throughout the whole race, which, considering, is very good going, boys, I must say. And it's great to see you both going so well and saving that much fuel as well. I mean, again, if we look at the top 4 in terms of their pit stops, you can see there, Ed, a couple of smaller stints here and there that have shuffled up the order a little bit, but on the whole, it is the race leading car that has sort of put themselves a few laps ahead at least. They've extended it enough, but I don't think it's going to be a full pit stop by the end. It's certainly getting closer to it the further we go through the race, but we can see for the second place car, one of the main things is that little block there, that 6th pit stop. Oh, sorry, the 6th pit stop that they did certainly changed things up. It's that little blue blob on the second row between the 26 and 25. They really, really didn't need that, but still they're in second place, so that shows just how quick they've been, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering though what effect that might have come the end of the race. I mean, they are still 50 seconds clear of the 88 car, the Dynamics pink car, in 3rd. However, what effect that might have come the end of the race remains to be seen. That might be something that will come back to bite them later on. So all that Jeremy DeBova can do at the moment is churn through the lap times, negotiate the lap traffic, as he has been doing, as we've just seen him get through on Christoph Willems in Tri Racing colours, the number 3 Porsche you can see in the background of our shot now. And as well, I'm just trying to sort of refresh my brain and catch up on everything that's been going on over the past, 9 hours of racing. I've been tuning into the chat here and there, tuning into YouTube to see what's been going on. I mean, it's been a huge shame to see Flemish Sim Sports all the way down in 7th place, because when I left you, Chaz, they were really up there fighting for 2nd place and trying to hold on, trying to get, at the very least, 3rd place sealed in the championship, but it just hasn't worked out for them.
No, unfortunately not, and, with only 8 cars running now, a number of these guys aren't going to score points, and what it currently does to the championship is actually move the number 4 car, the McChallenge by DB machine, up to 3rd in the standings as well, from being in 5th. Zenom Esports also pop into the top 5, and Decimo BE drop down to 6th in the championship after being 3rd going into this last round. Jeremy DeBova makes his way into the pit lane in the Audi R8. He's nice and careful on pit entry as well. There's no point sort of trying to push for that extra 1/10 of a second on the way in a race like this, you know, you may as well leave those tents out on the road to go and be chased. But second place at the moment, making their way in. And Bart Paré, I'm sure, will come through in the Dynamics pink car. We'll show you just about where he is on track. You can see there what now becomes the red blob. This one making his way up towards Blanchimont. And he's got a good 30 seconds at least before Didier de Vlaeminck gets going again in the McChallenge by DB car. You can see the faint green dot there on the start-finish straight. Look at the speed that they go through Blanchimont. It's fantastic. Hard onto the brakes. And then into the chicane, the bus stop, whatever we want to call it today. And I'll tell you when Didier de Vlaeminck gets going, because this could be close, you know, if he's only taking fuel and not taking tyres.
I think Bart's got this, you know.
Yeah, I think he does, actually, because it's over 46 seconds now. So I think Didier will be taking tyres. Yes, he's up in the air, so he is taking tyres, which means it'll be over a minute, this pit stop. So Bart continues on and will obviously try to extend that gap as best he can. Didier de Vlaeminck any second now will pop down off the jacks and get going again. If SDK lets me click on him. Any second now, there you go. Off goes the yellow Audi. Quite the difference between the two, though. We'll bring the map up for just a second there. You can see down the Kemmel Straight now. Bart Paré sticks to the commitment line. Lovely stuff. And there we go. So they change back round once again, but in terms of their strategies, I mean, we've seen that they are on very different ones at the moment. Because, look, further and further. At the start, they were almost identical. But then because of that little blob in the middle, that little weird stint that Didier de Vlaeminck did, they have pitted almost in the opposite time. You know, they're almost bang in the middle of each other's stints, aren't they, right now?
Yeah, they are. They're basically doing the complete opposite to one another, aren't they? They're in their own weird little strategy bubbles, and as you can see, it swings in the favour of Bart Paré for the moment, and then it will obviously swing in favour of Didier de Vlaeminck later. The Dynamics Pink and McChallenge by DB going to be trying their utmost to keep this fight going. I mean, Joshua Campfield as well. Let's not count out this Sim District GT3 Audi out of this fight, Chaz. So they're definitely in with a shot of a podium, maybe even second place, because there's still a lot of time to go in this race. 3 hours remain here at Spa Francorchamps, and it is really wide open for anyone to take. Anyone that isn't obviously Sim District GT3 Lamborghini, because it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win. But
yeah.
In terms of this podium, it's really wide open in terms of those 4 cars, maybe those 3 cars.
Yeah, it really is. You know, there's a certain amount of these drivers out there that they'll be aiming just to get to second or third. You know, if their race goes the ideal way they want it to, and I think a lot of them know what the realistic result would be, and that's what you've got to have in this sort of racing. You know, in endurance races like this, you have to be very realistic. You know, you can't push it too hard. You can't overdo it and aim too high. You know, you have to just tell yourself, look, where have we been before? Where can we aim to be at this point? You've just got to look at it realistically. Compare your results to your previous ones. Because then, you know, if something does happen and there is a car ahead of you that has a problem and drops loads of places, then so be it. You know, make the most of it. Take advantage of it and go forward.
It is all about making the best of the situations you find yourself in these endurance races. It's all about thinking, oh, if we race the perfect race, we'll get this, that, and the other. But quite oftentimes you find that in these sorts of races, nothing ever goes perfectly. I mean, the front end of Jens Goosen's car will be testament to that. It's far from the perfect race for them, considering it's almost like a pug, isn't it? The front smushed in like that on the Zenith Sport 69 Lamborghini. But it's more of a battle scar than anything else, I think, at this stage, isn't it? It doesn't seem to be hampering their pace too much. Still lapping very well, even though it does look a little bit funky at the front, shall we say.
It certainly does, mate. Yeah, the light bar has been mashed in somewhat, but they can deal with it, and they have been doing. We'll go on board for a second and just show you the lights, or the lighting that's dropping here at Spa Francorchamps. You can see the circuit almost in this sort of twilight setting right now, isn't it? Where it's going a little bit grey, the circuit and the sky and the scenery, it all blends together a little bit. It's one of those scary moments where the headlights aren't making enough of a difference to light up the road yet, but at the same time, you do start to need them at this point. up towards Blanchimont once again. You forget how uphill this bit is, actually, on the circuit. It seems like it's flat, but it really does climb up a hill. Listen to the Lambo. Oh, it's unbelievable. Poetry. That sounded flat through there. There was barely a lift from Jens Goossens. Went hard onto the brakes into the bus stop. And again, there's that climb, but you can see now into the sun, away from the trees. Very shiny surface on the track. It's really rubbered in. There's a lot of marbles and bits lying around on the track. It's great stuff.
I have to say, I never noticed it, how different the track is in the sun here. And then when you get into the trees through the wonderful Ardennes forest, it's a lot darker, isn't it? Which is amazing to see iRacing actually reflecting that.
Definitely is. There is a big, big change in the scenery when you go up, or down, I should say, past like Bruchet and all of that part. When you come out of Les Combes and Malmedy even, you know, you're going to start being in the shade because look, there are the trees. And then you're on into the sunlight down the back straight. But we'll go back on board again and you'll see the difference as you get into the middle. Kimber Haight saying 8 cars running. Oh my God, yeah, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it, that we've lost a number of them. 5 cars out of the race so far. Challenged by DB, Decimo BE, Zenemy Sports 2, Team Tice and Porsche Sport. But look, here you go, Ed. This part now where all the trees are in the middle of the circuit. You know, you've got the sort of infield trees. Get a bit of sunlight down here as you go through No Name, Jackie X, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden you're going to go into the shade when you get down to the bottom end past Pouan. Although I say that.
Maybe the sun's decided to shine a little bit brighter for the next 5 or so minutes. Though it does start to dim a little bit around here, Chaz. You're all right, but not as much as it was the previous lap. I think the sun's decided to poke its head out for one last hurrah before it dips below the horizon and needs the riders to use their headlights a little bit more. Oh, though, from Jens Goossens, it's clear that he has pretty good pace because up in front, that's second place that he's closing in on.
Yeah, and not only just closing in on, yeah, Jens Goossens going past Bart Paré. Bart doesn't decide to fight him. He's got, well, Bart's 5 and a bit minutes behind Olivier Bultink, who was 2 laps ahead. So they're no direct competition, but they need to worry because Didier de Vlaeminck is only 25 seconds back from Bart Paré. So the gap isn't massive. It's copable, and of course the pit stops make the difference between these cars. Bart needs to pit again. This car's done 10 pit stops. Bart and his team have only done 9, as Martin Deckens has a bit of a moment off the track apparently, but only for a brief moment. It's a shame about the Flemish car not being as high up as we expect them to be after the incidents that they had earlier on, but Martin Deckens has been so quick. I think it was Thomas, was it Leysens, that was behind the wheel earlier, and he had a couple of incidents, one through Blanchimont that really damaged the car, and well, with no fast repair available, they had to spend quite a bit of time in the pits. But it's a ruddy good looking car, isn't it, the Flemish machine?
Really is. And I mean, fastest lap of the race, at least from the last round of laps, was going the way of Martin Deckens, is 16.7, 16.6 through for the 86. So they are lapping considerably faster actually than Olivier Bultink, half a second faster than our race leaders, which does tell us they have got the pace. They've just found themselves out of position, unfortunately, and need to make up a fair few places in the final 3 hours. 30 seconds back from 6th place and another 30 seconds back from 5th means that they have a lot of time to try and make up, but plenty of time to make it up in.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's the thing. There's still a long time left to go in this race, almost half the length of a normal round of this championship. You know, we've got the last quarter of this race to go. And Kimber Haight in the chat saying Hendrick and I owe some beers to Christoph, Martin and Thomas as we weren't available for this race and they're substituting for us. Seeing how empty the track is, I think they'll want more than one. Yes, I agree. They may want to be fed much beer after this, but it's great to see that, you know, with the sim racing community once again, Ed, that teams like this, they can call upon drivers and friends to come in and do what they're doing for them right now. You know, it's been a great performance either way, regardless of the incidents earlier.
I'm sorry about that. My internet just dropped for a brief moment.
Oh.
I think I'm back.
Yeah, we've got you.
Okay, that's good. It's a little bit worrying, but I think we're all sorted. Just had a one of those classic Windows USB disconnect sounds, which was
Oh, joys.
always joys, but I haven't heard it again, so I think we're fine. I think we're good to carry on. Sorry about that, Chaz.
It's all good, mate. It's technology, mate. It happens. You know, we were having issues with SDK earlier, and it was being a bit of a pig, but that's just because it's very busy on SDK right now. With the Nürburgring 24-hour race going on, there's a lot of teams using it to stream their own efforts, to broadcast different parts of the event, and do their own thing with it. So, to be honest with you, we have got all sorts of things that could go wrong at this end, but I think it's been alright, to be honest, so far.
Yeah, definitely is. It's gone all right for Matt Deckenstab. Finds himself up into P6 thanks to Lucas Romano on RP Motorsport's latest pit stop. So that's one position they've been able to make up. Of course, that might change about in terms of strategy, in terms of when they come into the pits next time. Still, though, I think ideally they would have hoped for second, maybe even hoped to have fought for first, and then obviously after that mistake down into Puon, and later on in the race they were hoping maybe for second place, and now I think fifth is realistically I think the best they can hope for from this event, which is a shame, but still Flemish Sports showing that they have considerable pedigree, considerable pace as well, even if it is going to be some small comfort when you look at their finishing position.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've been running well, it's always going to be a race of what might have been from that point onwards, I'm afraid. And, you know, one of the talking points of this race has been how the drivers and how the teams overcome a setback in a race like this. You know, you've got a long time to come over it, don't get me wrong, but you've still got to be able to do that mentally. You know, you've got a long time to do it, as I've just said twice, but you have to actually go and do it. I think that's one of the main problems, isn't it, for a lot of them. It's trying not to drive with that frustration, with that disheartened feeling in your minds. It's not easy to do.
Easy in theory, difficult in practice, I think, is the...
Sounds like putting up with me.
Yeah. No, Chaz, it's never difficult to put up with you. It's always a joy.
You flatter me. You flatter me.
I mean, all of these drivers, they've had to put up with us, the pair of us in the comms box for the whole season. So
very true.
If anyone needs to be feeling sorry for, it's everyone in the YouTube chat. But thankfully, this is the last time you will be hearing myself and Chaz, at least on this DynamiXX Racing Simulator. This won't be the last time you'll hear us in a comms box. That is for certain. I've said it before in the opening 3 hours, and I'll say it again in the closing 3 hours, that Chaz, you're never going to get away from me. I'll always be hanging around.
It's all good, mate. It's all good. It's part of the fun. We have a lot of fun in the commentary box, and we will continue to do so. But yeah, as mentioned, there are certain series and championships that have been running here on Simracersworld TV that will continue to run elsewhere. There's a number of them rebranded as Nevo Series, which is obviously the same community, just a rebrand, which is running over on Chaz Draycott Media. That includes the Formula 3 series, the Sim Stickers Formula 3, and of course the wonderful Porsche Cup, the European Porsche Cup series that started just last week, and a whole host of other stuff as well. But in the future, DynamiXX will be back on our screens. We just need to have a word with them about where and when, and I'm sure that we will see the brand and see you lot as well again at other points further down the line. We've still got a long way left to go in this race. Just to keep you updated, Ed and I will be having a couple of breaks over these last sort of few hours, because you know it's getting quite long in the day now. I've been broadcasting for what, nearly 10 hours as of right now, actually 10 hours as of this minute, cooped up in the office. Yes, I had a 90-minute break earlier, but man needs to eat. Man needs food and drink properly, where I don't have to worry about making noise on a microphone. But, you know, as this gets further through the race, you know, being completely honest here, it gets more and more fatigued, and Ed and I need to keep having things to talk about and so on, and your brain does start to fade a little bit at the end of this. And the drivers will have to compete with that as well. Let's not forget, you know, the drivers are the ones out there that are doing lap after lap after lap and having to keep up this great performance, which we salute them for. But being completely honest with you, at the 10-hour mark, in about 35 minutes, Ed and I will have a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll have the same again at the 11-hour mark as well, or we'll do it 5 minutes either side of it, so we go into the final hour and get as much of it as we can. But yeah, we do need to obviously have our breaks as well throughout this, so apologies if that annoys you, but we need to make sure that we remain refreshed and so on. I'm actually walking around my office right now, to be honest with you. I've got a very long cable on this headset, so I'm quite lucky that I can walk around the office, and it's very hot in here, so I'm sort of standing out of the door of the office hoping for a bit of the cold air to come in, because it's freezing in my house all the time except for my office. Anyway, enough
I was going to say something, but I thought better of it, Chaz.
No, go on. Go for it.
It's only hot because you're in it, Chaz.
Wait.
Wait.
Love it. That's
Love
the
it.
sort of stuff. That is the sort of stuff.
No, I was also about to. I mean, you were saying you can struggle for things to talk about, but I was actually going to ask you, now that we are closing in to the final stages here, not only in the race, but also in terms of Simracersworld TV as a whole, about some of both of our best memories on this service. I mean, in terms of races that we've either been a part of racing in or commentating on. I'm sure, Chaz, you've got plenty of memories to harken back to. I mean, you've been involved in a few races here on Simracersworld TV in terms of a driver in the Sunday Drivers MX5 Championship. And as well in the comms box on, like you said, the first ever broadcast, the Simracersworld TCR Series. I just want to know if there was anything that really stands out in your mind, any personal highlights?
To be honest, one of the most recent highlights and most entertaining moments we've seen was actually Thijs Vandenberger at Monza. We were on the chopper cam looking at a four-way battle between a bunch of cars at Monza in this series. And as all the cars in our chopper cam slowed down for turn one, Thijs Vandenberger didn't. And he came flying through the shot like a missile, missed everybody, and overshot the first chicane. It was incredibly entertaining. We both jumped out of our skin. Because, in endurance racing, it's never the most frantic racing. It's racing that intrigues you. And, well, speaking of intriguing, Baltic's just the fastest lap of the race last time around, 2:15.54. Unbelievable. But he's done 2 purple sectors on this lap as well. But yeah, that was one of the real moments. Because we got into our rhythm. We slowed down a little bit. We were just chilling out and enjoying the race as it was, watching it develop. And then all of a sudden, Thijs Vandenberger woke us up incredibly quickly. In terms of other memories, though, there's been some amazing races in what it was the Simracersworld TCR Series. I think it was the first race meeting of the year, or first race meeting ever. Brands Hatch, which was an absolute wonderful race meeting in itself, had some incredible racing between, I think it was Adam McNally and a bunch of others like Lewis Ward, Andy Hopley. Some Meraki cars were in there, I'm sure, an Excite. And there was a 5-car train or a 6-car train at Brands Hatch that were constantly on each other the whole time, and the race was amazing. One of the very first broadcasts we had, and it was really exciting. I absolutely loved it. I was still figuring out SDK and a number of things at that point, and yeah, it went really, really well, and those guys were thoroughly entertaining. Can't think of many.
Club GB as well. I remember some good races in that series.
Oh, me and Peter Mackay have absolutely died laughing sometimes at Porsche Club GB. Not at them, but just at the camaraderie that Peter and I have in the box. We crack so many jokes when we commentate on anything. But Porsche Club GB, the guys loved it as well. They really enjoyed the puns and the jokes and everything. It was such a laid-back attitude from everybody that it was just so much fun. Porsche Club GB in general has been a highlight for me. That was one of the very finest series that we got to cover, especially when you consider the driver development. We looked at the first race at Donington and we thought, oh, good Lord, what have we got ourselves into? What are these lot doing? Massive accidents and pile-ups every corner. And then you look at it in the most recent season and it's phenomenal. The racing has been absolutely fantastic. You'd have thought these guys were doing sim racing for 9-10 years, with the control and the attitude that they showed. It was beautiful. After my extensive list, though, Ed, are there any highlights from you, whether recent or from your very first commentaries that you enjoyed?
I mean, there were some absolutely amazing races in the Apex Technologies Championship as well, those LMP2s. You wouldn't have expected them to race so well, in a standalone class. But, I mean, some of the battles we were treated to, some of the level that we had on display in that series was absolutely amazing, wasn't it, Chaz? There was some, amazing fights. Especially I can't remember what it was. I think the first round at Daytona, there was some amazing battles because of the slipstream, because of all of the fights that we were treated to. And yeah, I'm trying to remember now. What was, I mean, a personal highlight for me was the absolute madness that was the virtual bell car, the 24 hours of Zolder, the first ever one that I was a part of, where I did 12 hours and was very delirious by the end of it. But I'll tell you what, Chaz, I'll do it again in a heartbeat. It was absolutely wonderful sharing a box with Asa and yourself. That was just really good fun. And it's these sorts of endurance style races that I really do enjoy, because it's not only just about the racing that you're treated to, but also the company. You get to have a chat with someone, you get to have a laugh. I mean, I was in the comms box, I think, for, was it last round or the round before? I think it was the round before last, where it was myself and Jack Johns, and he was brilliant. It was great to have in the comms box, and as well, plenty of other people that I've shared the comms box with throughout my time here on Simrace as well. It's just the memories of the people I've been commentating with and had the pleasure to commentate over as well. There are so many people that I commentate on that I also race with and against, and it's just a brilliant little community that was formed here by Ian, of course, those many moons ago, and continues to stay strong now with Nevo. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, to be honest, Chaz. It is really wonderful.
It really is. And I mean, the community will continue to go from strength to strength as well, you know, with the phenomenal development into Nevo and the wonderful names that we continue to bring in to the great group that we all have. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for it, to be honest with you. You know, it's a shame that we'll be moving on from the brand and moving on from Simracersworld TV, but, you know, that's business sometimes. And and at the end of the day, you know, there's no beating around the bush that Simracersworld TV is an official business. You know, there's no mucking about or pretending that, oh, it's just a hobby, it shouldn't matter or anything like that. You know, it has been a business for Ian and for everyone involved, and, you know, he's done a fantastic job managing it and managing us. So yeah, it's sometimes things just do move on when it comes to it. We're looking at Lucas Romano right now in the RP Motorsport Verde car, currently in 6th position, but very much in no man's land here. 55 seconds ahead to Jens Goossens, 30 seconds behind to this man, Martin Dekkens, in the Flemish SimSports Lamborghini. And another car, really, that's fallen by the wayside. Not quite the same fate as Decimo BE, who obviously are out of the race, but they've still been going pretty well, haven't they? Despite the setback, you know, the pace has been strong.
It really has, and I mean, it does obviously leave you to wonder what could have been for this Flemish Sports car, but focus on the here and now. They have 2.5 hours to try and make up as many positions as they possibly can. They have been closing, like you said, almost hand over fist to Lucas Romano and that RP Motorsport Verde car, but will they have enough time to close that down enough to make the overtake? It's going to be tricky for them, but if they can continue lapping as they have been doing, then I can't see why not. Further in front, though, actually, Bart Paré and De Vlamink, they're still pretty close together, and De Vlamink is churning out some monstrous lap times as well, over a second faster than the Dynamics Pink car last time around. I mean, this is working very nicely in favour of the number 4 car to try and take P2 in this race. Yeah,
and 2, 3 and 4, in terms of positions, are all still quite close together. I mean, the 3 of them separated by about 27 seconds, 28 seconds across all 3, which really isn't a lot considering how much of the race has been completed so far. So we hope that that continues to the end, because, well, you never know who could take it, because it's all going to be about who is in sync and who's out of sync with the pit stops when it comes to the end, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It will come down to that last hour, and then you'll start to see the race really develop into its final form when all of the pit stops, when the drivers make their final pit stop. Obviously, some of them that came in a bit earlier into the race will have the benefit of making their pit stops right at the end, having that shorter splash and dash, whereas others that need maybe slightly longer splashes and dashes will of course find themselves further back at the beginning of the final hour. But then as the race progresses, as we get into those final 15 minutes even, we could be in for a real treat. Just watching Joshua Campfield go through, churn out the lap times, he's closing that gap down to Bart Paré as well. We might see all 3 of these drivers closing up together at the exact same point. Just did a 17.45, that Sim District Audi, so definitely putting the back burners on now.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those moments where he's just turning up the thrust, turning up the power bit by bit. And you do see a lot of drivers able to really just crack on with it. You know, we were talking about this earlier on, that certain drivers, they'll get into a rhythm and they'll stay at a certain point, won't they, throughout the race. You know, their consistency is unmatched. But then other times there will be certain drivers and certain teams that they can just turn on the pace when they need it. But you do sort of think, why wasn't that there before? You know, like, why weren't you doing that originally? You know what I mean? It's the interesting art of sim racing and endurance racing.
Yeah, definitely. It's always, as well, just down to managing the race. You can't always lap at 110% pace every single lap, because that's when the mistakes can come through. And usually if you are going at full chat and make a mistake, they're usually very severe. So I can understand why drivers aren't necessarily going full chat as well. It's all about looking after the tyres, the fuel, and it's very difficult to run at a high level of pace for such a length of time when you have to consider so many different factors operating in the background that affect the strategy, affect when you can come in for the pits, and also affect how you can race with traffic. Let's not forget there are still enough cars on the circuit to cause a little bit of a headache in terms of coming out maybe behind slower cars than you're at least hoping to be behind. And as well, you can often find that cars that are a little bit slow, the likes of Try Racing, currently at 8th place, they can still gain something in terms of slipstreaming those faster cars. I mean, they're right in behind Simracersworld, so not really dropping back too much.
No, they're not actually. They're not really falling away at all. They're just still in it to win it, as I keep saying. You know, that's the thing. The whole dynamic of a race like this is down to whoever's in the car at the time, but the team can always be on hand to sort of give positive reinforcement, you know, and tell your drivers how they're doing. Just give you the picture, give you all the information you can get. It is just what it is, you know. Sometimes there's only a certain amount you can do and you can carry on. But Try Racing have shown the determination today, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. And heard from Porsche Sport in the YouTube chat as well, they're going to try and plan to get out for the final hour and try and take the checkered flag, which would be brilliant to see, Chaz, I have to say. Hopefully they haven't, you know, been doing that strange thing that iRacing does, where when you sit in the pits for any length of time, the car will blow up. I think they've exited the session, so we don't have that worry, and then they'll rejoin, and fingers crossed, we will see at least 9 cars at this stage of the race. There's currently 8 on track, but hopefully we see 9 cars greet the checkered flag come the end.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I certainly hope so. It'd be great to see them just get those final laps in. I can't remember what series it was, actually. Well, actually, no, was it this series last year when Bart Daleman was in an LMP2 car and he went out at the end just to try and get a point for fastest lap?
I think it was this series, you're right, Chaz. Yeah, it was. I mean, it is in these endurance races all about trying to make the most of any situation you find yourself in. Like we've been saying, they found themselves down the order, but they got in the car and decided, you know what, I'm going to chill out the laps and at least try and take a point from what would have been a very, very bad weekend. Which again just adds to the memories that we have here on Simracersworld TV, doesn't it, Chaz? All of these funny little things that you find in sim racing broadcasting that can come up. Drivers, you know, being absent for huge stretches of time and then popping up. Because I think Bart Daleman, it was just, was it his teammate wasn't around? So it was just him racing or something?
I think so, yeah. Either that or they were out early on, and then I think his teammate then said, well, if we're out, then, you know, I've got something else to do anyway, so I'm going to go. And then, yeah, unfortunately, they didn't complete the race as a pairing, but, yeah, Bart still went out there to try and get the points, and it was great entertainment watching him just wait and then go for it, just to see these laps being absolutely smashed into the timing screens. It was really, really good fun, to be fair, and hats off to Bart. It was entertaining, you know. We made something of it. We certainly enjoyed ourselves, to say the least.
But it's always been about the entertainment, though. It's been brilliant battling with him in various different championships in the Simracersworld BMW Trophy as well. I had some amazing battles with so many different people in that series. It was wonderful. I think I had some good tussles with Seb Herber as well, if memory serves right, and plenty of familiar names. And as well, I mean, I've been enjoying watching the Formula 3 series as well, the Simracersworld Formula 3 series. I enjoyed watching it so much that I decided to race for a few rounds. And I mean, you know how that went, Chaz. I was there for one round and then made a fool of myself at Imola, which was a round that unfortunately you weren't able to cover. And then I decided, you know what, maybe I should stick to the commentary. And now I've been lured back in by the promise of GT4s and little Pro Masters. So who knows what the future will hold in terms of me racing. But in terms of commentating, I'm not going to be calling this quits ever. This is really, really enjoyable. And I have to say thank you, of course, again to Ian for giving me this chance and allowing me to really decide, yeah, this is something I want to do for the foreseeable. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, commentary's a great job to have, isn't it? I mean, you get given all the info, you get to watch the race and, you know, and share the excitement of it. You know, you get to share your enthusiasm for not just the sport, but the races themselves and, you know, tell everybody exactly how you feel about it and tell everyone what's going on, share that enthusiasm. It's wonderful. Really, really wonderful to be a commentator. I certainly enjoy myself doing it.
Everything for me, it's all about, like you said, the passion and trying to bring that passion to as many people as possible. And I guess for me, it's all about the excitement of the race. It's all well and good. You talk through races here and there, and sometimes when you sit by the side of a racetrack, it does get a little bit dreary sometimes with the same voice story and on and on. You don't get that level of excitement, which is what I find about motorsport, is the excitement of it. There's always something, I feel, to get hyped about.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I mean, it depends. I mean, some people find certain elements of racing exciting that others don't, you know. It's just, yeah, it's how it is. You know, there are people that are absolute specialists in endurance racing. I mean, there's different styles of commentators that suit different roles. I mean, our very own Peter Mackay is an absolute superstar. You know, he's amazing. Absolutely
just
amazing.
Don't interview him.
Yeah, because he'll swear. But, you know, with his endurance knowledge and the facts that he can feed people throughout a broadcast, he's so perfect for endurance racing because he's always got something interesting to talk about.
An absolute encyclopedia is Peter Mackay. He is a wonderful, wonderful bloke. I mean, I had the joys of actually being involved in one of his Friday Rallycross roll-ups, and I always remember the laughs that we all had together. It was just a brilliant, brilliant time. And every time he sees me, he always tries to get me to repeat this drummer joke, and I can't do it because it's special. It's one of the things where I told it, and everyone burst out, and it was like, oh, this is brilliant. I love it. And he's such a wonderful bloke, though, honestly. The stuff that he's done in real life as well, or the Nürburgring 24s was something that I really enjoyed just listening on and go, that's it. That's our Peter, that is. Yeah,
for sure. It's always good that when you hear somebody you know and some of your friends commentating and being a part of a different broadcast or just popping up somewhere around the world, you know, one of the most mental things for me has been the fact that I've always watched, you know, it's not the nicest thing in motorsport, so forgive me if you find this sensitive, but there's a lot of these YouTube channels out there that put together crash compilations, you know, just showing what accidents have happened in certain racing and different series from all around the world. You know, I've been watching them for years, and it's always been a source of entertainment because, you know, they're all incidents where the drivers are okay. You know, it's never anything with anything loaded behind it, but I've always enjoyed watching them, and we're getting to the point now with my work on Clio Cup Europe and on the European Truck Racing Championship where people that I've not spoken to for a while will send me a link and say, is this you? And now I'm starting to appear on those crash compilations as the guy talking over it, which is absolutely mad. But as part of the job, you know, that's the thing. You get to be more involved in motorsport, not just a fan at the side of the road. And, you know, you meet the drivers, you get media access at certain events and so on. I love it. I absolutely love my job. You know, I'll never say otherwise. I may say things that make me look
up. Does it?
No, I may say things that make me look ungrateful about my job sometimes if I moan about something, but you know, that's just because we're all perfectionists as commentators. You know, we like to say everything correctly, know everybody is, and know who everybody is, I should say, and know what's going on. And it's easy
I mean,
to
yeah,
let
it's
perfectionism sort of get in the way of that.
yeah. And what you were talking about hearing yourself elsewhere, I mean, I still haven't quite got over the fact that some of my commentary has been included on iRacing's, like 2022 sort of season hype stuff. Obviously, with some of the commentary I sent you the link, and I'm still buzzing about it now. It's amazing how you can commentate and you don't think it'll get very far, and then all of a sudden you find yourself on iRacing. I mean, you had that the other day, didn't you, Chaz, with the Formula One on the iRacing socials?
Yeah, actually, iRacing on their Instagram at least shared a clip of Formula One, which was sent to them from one of our drivers, Martin Kenyon. If you haven't seen or heard of the CDM Formula One World Championship, I'm afraid, sorry Ian, it's time for a shameless plug, because the Formula One Championship uses the Pro Mazda, and we have them in 1997 Formula One liveries. We had pre-season testing, so the pace of the drivers reflects what car they get given, and we race on a similar calendar to the 1997 World Championship, and it's hilarious fun. Ed even races in it in a Sauber, don't you?
Yeah, and it's great fun. I mean, I can never ever catch a break in terms of not making a silly mistake. I try my best to make at least a couple, just to spice things up. But no, it's been a real joy to be a part of. Looking forward to the next round in. Well, actually, is it less than a week or a week's time?
It's this week. This week coming.
This week. Oh my word, I've done no practice, so that tells you all you need to know about what my performance is going to be like. But yeah, Catalonia historic in these little Pro Mazdas. It is a real joy to drive, and hopefully, I'm going to say this and hope that Hassa isn't listening, that Hassa won't spin into turn one again.
Actually, we now have a trio of Simracersworld TV commentators racing in the championship. We have our wonderful Ed May, who we have here, Hassa Raymer, and Jack Werrell as well, racing in the championship. So we have a multitude of commentators come drivers. Adam Hedgecock as well races in it. He's commentated on sim racing stuff before, as far as I remember. I think there are a few drivers actually that have all sort of had their own a few bits.
Hedge, my teammate as well, don't forget Chaz.
Oh yeah, Hedge is your teammate, yeah.
Lovely lad he is. So we try our best to work together and help each other out. We used to try and help. We did help each other out a lot in the opening round when it was open qualifying, when you could tow each other around. But unfortunately, we can't do that anymore. So it becomes a lot more tricky, I think, in terms of helping one another out. I mean, he was trying to follow me around at Imola, and I kept spinning. So it was. What was it, Chaz? I think you were in the chat, wasn't it, before the start of the broadcast, just laughing at all of us failing to practice and do some decent laps around Imola just before the start of qualifying. And you're like, what are you doing, Hedge? He's like, oh, I'm just following Ed. Because he spun into Tosa the second I spun as well.
Oh, I remember that. Actually.
Giving poor Hedge grief.
Yeah, that's very true. That's
the thing, is that it is this wider community that you can find yourself a part of in sim racing. It's a very strange world. I would never have expected to, be here a good fair few years ago. I mean, it was only started sim racing itself back in, I think, early to late 2019. I think was when I started, and then very quickly found out that I can't drive, and decided to instead talk about it, because my parents always told me to shut up, that I can keep talking, and love to chat. So here we are. And,
here we are indeed.
Here we are indeed, and fingers crossed. I mean, I make no secret of it. I like to obviously try and get some real world work coming through, but that will never ever stop me from doing this. Sim racing is where I've started and where I'll always be. It's a wonderful hobby, a wonderful way to spend your evening, and for me, there isn't anything better.
There is not, and while you get sentimental, Porsche Sport get comedic in the chat again, saying the last time Ed will give his sim racing background. Love it, honestly. Like, I know I've said it a lot today, but the support from everybody, all the guys in the chat as well, Jesse Hendricks with the kind words, and Kimber Haight as well. There's so many wonderful people in this community that have been with us from the very start, and every broadcast they're here, no matter what. Even if it's a series that their guys aren't racing in, or even if it's a series where there's no Porsches in it, we get Porsche Sport in the chat, we get the good old faithful people that support us here on this channel, and we are very grateful for each and every one of you. And if I can't remember if I put it on my social media actually, but I was going to try and show it on the over the course of the stream, but I look like absolute death today because I did not sleep last night. But I have all of my office lights in orange today for the final ride, as I called it, the last ride of Simracersworld TV. I've got a lot of RGB LEDs in my office, maybe too many. The missus thinks I'm a bit special, but yeah, I've turned them all orange today. Annoyingly, they're all different shades of orange because none of them are from the same brand, but I've got to deal with that, and my OCD has to as well.
Oh dear, Chaz. You need to strip them all down and buy full packs just from one brand now.
I do.
That's what you gotta do. That's next on the agenda, mate.
Well, one of the annoying things actually is that I bought 2 of them. The most 2 recent ones, the Underglow for my soundproof foam, is all actually... They were bought from the same shop, but it turns out that the remote's different and everything. But it was apparently the same brand on the box, but then when you open it and read what it says on the plug and the branding on that, no, it's not the same. Annoying.
Dear, oh dear. Porsche Sport, though. Love to see them in the chat. I was actually waiting to see if I could find them in the Nevo Porsche series as well. I was there for the start. I was hoping when we get Porsche Sport, asking how many Porsches there are, and they didn't come through. They didn't ask.
No. I was actually, to be fair, oh, no. Wait. I got a message from Luke, actually, saying, sorry we didn't make the race last night in the comments. We were all busy. And it was that was after the Porsche race. So, yeah.
I love that.
He actually went out of his way to message me to say, sorry we were in the chat asking how many Porsches last night on the Porsche broadcast. So, yeah. Honestly,
I love that. Absolutely, I really do love that, and I know I'll be tuning into the European Porsche series. The Nevo stuff is always going to be something I'll look forward to watching and maybe racing in, maybe commentating on. We'll see, obviously, what the future holds. But if ever I don't get the chance to commentate on something, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on trying to get involved in racing in it because, you know, I haven't got anything better to do. I'm a student. I've got all the free time in the world. It's lovely.
Indeed.
I need to give a little swan song from a little Logitech G29. Looking to upgrade it in the near future to a Fanatec Direct Drive. New bit of kit that's, I have to say, it's wonderful to see so many new bits of kit. It's just the slight segue coming out in the sim racing space. A lot more of an affordable entry as well into direct drives. I mean, I know, Chaz, you've got this amazing wheel provided to you that you're...
oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I'm using it as a table today.
Using as a table?
It's a table for all of my snacks today. Is the I've been... I must admit, you know, another partner of Simracersworld, you know, Abruzzi. Ben is an absolute star, bless him. You know, he's been a part of the whole Simracersworld community since the start. He's supported Ian and the whole thing since the get-go. Ben and I have become partners as well, essentially. You know, he's a great sort of partner to my brand, and I'm an ambassador for them. And yeah, I'm incredibly blown away that they sent me a Moser R16 direct drive wheel and an RS fully forged carbon steering wheel to go with it. I'm incredibly lucky, but I've not got a rig strong enough to put it on because the base is that heavy. It bent my... I'm not going to say what brand it was, but it bent my rig. So I need a full profile rig to mount it to. But once that's here, then you'll see no end of me on track, I'm sure, because I really want to race with this thing. It's a gorgeous wheel, and to be honest, the base itself is so heavy. I think it's 9.8 kilos or something. It's ridiculously heavy, but yeah, it's part of the wonderful community again, you know, brought along by this. If Simracersworld didn't exist, I probably wouldn't have ever been in touch with Abruzzi. They wouldn't have known what an idiot I am and sent me some stuff which I fully don't deserve.
Yeah, I mean, same here. If it hadn't been for Simracersworld TV, I wouldn't have known you, Chaz. I wouldn't have been able to race in all these various series you've been able to broadcast and put on the Formula One. I would never have had the joys of commentating on all of these different drivers, all of these different people that I've become fast friends with. And yeah, again, it's a wonderful way to say thank you to Simracersworld TV, is that we're both here and we're both able to enjoy all the racing on track.
That's
able
it,
to
mate.
enjoy this man, Olivier Baldsink, who's currently trying to run away and trying to put maybe even another lap on the rest of the field.
Indeed, indeed. And, well, I mean, Olivier and the guys have been absolutely incredible, haven't they? Absolutely incredible. And you can really see the matte effect on that car right now, can't you? It's very Knight Rider, very Batman, isn't it, the Huracan? I mean, we always say this about the black Huracans anyway. And I absolutely love watching them make their way around. It's great fun. It makes a good noise as well, which certainly helps.
Yeah, I think the noise definitely helps. I mean, when you go onto the gearbox, how you hear it slam down through the gears, it is truly wonderful. All the different pops and bangs, like we say, from the exhaust, everything in this Huracan is basically, I mean, it's the Italian nature of it, isn't it? It's a lot like the Audi R8 in many aspects, but it doesn't have that the Audi doesn't have that Italian flair that they like to put in to the Huracan. It is a really wonderful bit of kit. I do enjoy driving it, racing in it. I'm still obviously going to be driving in any chance I get in the GT3s, racing the BMW, but I'll tell you what, this Lamborghini is a close second, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know how you feel about your BMW, Ed. You know,
I love it.
we always
Beautiful.
disagree on the front end, but that is beside the point. It's a very good race car, and another example from BMW that they can build one hell of a race car, can't they? I mean, especially from the larger cars in their range, let's say.
Yeah, it's basically, you know, a saloon car that they've turned into a GT3 racer. It is really great, and I have to say it's a big beefy beast, but my God, does it corner really nicely, really stable. And I mean, speaking of manufacturers that make a good race car, Porsche again with this GT3 911. I mean, it is a wonderful bit of kit. Even though I can't get along with the engines in the wrong place, it's such a nightmare to drive. But my word, does it ever stop on the anchors? It's such a good car on the brakes, on corner entry as well. It's just a little bit feisty at the rear end for my liking. Poor Porsche Sport. Not too happy about my BMW praise, but I've just thought wonderful things about the Porsche. So there we go. We can compromise there, right? Porsche Sport, we're fine. We cool. We cool.
Absolutely. Well recovered, they say. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic. So, we have just a couple of minutes left of this current hour. It is about now where Ed and I will just take a quick break, everybody. So, if you do not mind, please bear with us for about 10 minutes. We'll just get a drink, stretch our legs a bit, just get away from the screens. You know, the blue light and, well, the orange light, as it is in my room, can harm your eyes after a while. Ed, because it is one of the last breaks we will have, we'll leave the last one up to our wonderful viewers later on when it gets to the 11-hour mark to choose which car we go on board with. As there's no BMW here, you're going to have to make a decision here, my friend. Who do you want to jump on with?
For fear of incurring the wrath of Porsche in the YouTube chat, let's go on board with one of the two Porsches. We've been watching Christoph Williams go around the circuit, but I think let's go to the 88. Yagi Zoglu and Dynamics Pink, currently up in third place. Under a little bit of pressure from John Bruins. They've just come through the pits, I think, making their most recent stop. So let's go on board with the 88.
We will indeed then. Right then, everybody. Thank you very much. We will be back with you in about 10 minutes. See you soon. Enjoy. And hello again, everybody. Hello indeed. Chaz, Draycott and Ed May back with you once again, like a renegade master, however the saying goes, with the final couple of hours now of the wow, DynamiXX Endurance Series, 12 hours of Spa Francorchamps. It's been a really, really intriguing event so far, as these races often are. So much going on, so much strategy to think about for driver and team, and plenty of us to talk about as well, to be honest, Ed. And it's been a good example that even with 8 cars out there on a track like this, you know, we can still always have something to look at, something to talk about, and great GT3 machinery on offer. It's certainly been entertaining so far. I think we've just had a spin, actually. Joe Leulenbroek, for the second time this race, has just had a spin down at Jackie X corner, unfortunately. And it's definitely going darker now, isn't it? To add to that.
Definitely. I was about to say as well, before we had that spin, that these GT3 cars, like you were saying, wonderful bits of kit. Probably my favourite cars to drive on the iRacing service. I mentioned before, the Simracing Magazine GT4 Challenge is making it a little bit difficult to choose between GT4s and GT3s for me at the minute, but I still think there is nothing better in terms of the racing, the closeness as well in terms of the balance of performance. These GT3 cars are wonderful to drive, especially over these extended stints. You can really, I guess, test the limits, I think, in these cars a lot more aggressively than you were, I think, previously able to. The iRacing have done a great job of making the GT3 cars feel like GT3 cars that are essentially driven and can be driven by dentists. So there's the I think the meme is in endurance racing, isn't it? There's a dentist moment whenever you see an AM class or pro AM class car have a bit of a moment.
It is indeed. I think everybody will remember. I think it was back when it was Blancpain. There was Vadim Kogai, Russian rich man in general, in a green Ferrari, entered the championship in the 333 car, and safe to say it didn't go swimmingly. You know, David Addison and John Watson took great pleasure in watching his racing efforts, and Porsche Sport saying it's the last time the stream started 69 minutes ago. Nice. Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, we've now passed that point. But we are into double digits now, Ed. It's just gone 10 hours, 10 minutes and 10 seconds of this race done. And again, we've not got that much longer to do here. We're going to have another break at the 11-hour mark, because at this point, as you all know, we start to get very fatigued and very tired. But we're still plugging away, and if there's anybody that can make it through this, it's Ed May, the master of endurance racing here on Simracersworld TV. Yeah,
the person with, I think, more free time than anybody else, I think, is the the reason why I'm in on so many of these. All self-depreciating jokes aside, I do really enjoy these races. Any chance I get to cover an endurance broadcast, I take it, because while some people find them a little bit boring, I love them. Even though there's not necessarily an on-track fight, there's still plenty to look about and speculate over, which I know me and you, Chaz, we love a little bit of speculation here in these races about who's going to come out on top, who's got the pace. And I mean, for the moment, it does seem like Vlaminck is going to have a good shot at getting second place in this race. But for my money, I think their Sim District Audi is probably going to take the next step of the podium. Third place looks to be going their way if they can keep up this pace.
Yeah, it's certainly developing that way for it at the moment. Not many changes since the last time we looked at the championship standings. Obviously, this car will win the championship if it finishes this way, but the number 4 Audi will move up into 3rd position behind the DynamiXX Racing Pink Porsche. Flemish Sim Sports, if they score the 24 points that they're on for at the moment in 6th place, they will end up still 4th in the standings, 4 points down on the McChallenge by DB Audi. The big shock, though, is Decimo BE. You know, Kern Bevers out of the race and not on their way to score points as far as I know. So big changes there, which means that they will drop all the way down to 6th place. They won't even finish in the top 5 in the championship. They'll have less than half of the points of the eventual winning Sim District GT3 car. And, well, not quite how you would have expected it to go, really, because Decimo BE and Dynamics Pink have definitely been two of the most consistent teams in the whole competition.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget I think the second row of the championship at Monza, Chaz, it was looking almost potential. There was definitely potential there for that Simo.be car to maybe even win the race. There was some very scary moments for Sim District GT3, the 45 Lamborghini, that did eventually come through, as we see. Ooh, a little bit of a race going on. It's between second and sixth. Not a battle for position, but still a little bit of racing there as Martin Deckens lunges down up the inside through the chicane. Such as the pace of this Flemish Simsport car. Very, very quick indeed. I said that fifth place is probably the best they can hope for. Lucas Romano is that car, occupying fifth for RP Motorsports Verde. Currently 28 seconds the difference. Not too much to try and gain over the next 2 hours. So definitely doable for Flemish Simsports, especially if Martin Deckens can keep this pace up. Last lap was 0.3 faster. Needs to get a little bit more of a move on than just 0.3 of a lap faster, I think, if he wants to close that gap down. But still, definitely in the realms of possibility for that 86 Lamborghini to make up one further position in this race.
Yeah, indeed. And the car that they are chasing down, if we show you on the track map, is just there, going down the hill now, down Pouon towards Piff Paff, the Fania chicane. It's not a massive difference. And again, this opens up the discussion there. That Audi's clearly on Michelin's, and this Lamborghini is, well, actually, it's one of the cars without tyre writing down the side of it most of the time. So we have some cars that always look like they're on Michelin's, some look like they're on Pirelli's, and obviously that is down to the underlying livery that they've chosen in the iRacing UI, is it not?
Yeah, and I think also down to licensing agreements, because I can't remember, is it Lamborghinis that are only using, I think, because what do they model the Lamborghini off of? Was it one that was using...
I think it was on Pirelli's, if I'm honest with
Pirelli's.
you. I think it was part of, it was an IMSA car for sure. I think it was the famous number 63, the team that always runs number 63. I can never remember. It's one of the, is it Permatina or something like that? The branding that they always have on it. I'll try and remember.
It was very green.
Oh yeah,
that's it. I just know the green one. I'm a child. I like the green one.
I'm just trying to see which one of them it is. I'm very, very sure that it is the number 63, but for some reason I just cannot see the. I can't see the team name or anything for it.
Yeah, not sure why. It's probably a licensing conflict is why they can't show anything other than Pirelli's. I think maybe the series branding has got cars that are using Michelin's, but obviously the Lamborghini, from whatever reason, has licensing agreements to not use those tyres, so instead runs completely blanked out sidewalls, which, to be fair, I quite like the look of. I think it does add to the whole, I guess, almost Batmobile-esque aesthetic that this Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car sort of has about itself.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it looks like an aggressive car, and I mean, in the right hands, it goes like the aggressive car that it is. I mean, Martin Deckens is making it look very fast right now. He's pulling away from the guy that's in second position. And it's just a shame, isn't it? Because the pace of it is just definitely there. Like, we're watching it literally right now with the pace that they need.
Faster than the car currently occupying second place, but through mistakes and incidents, they've dropped back. And that's the thing, Chaz. You can have a very quick car. You can be quicker than everyone else around you. But if you have those mistakes, if you're not consistent enough in these endurance-style races, it does bite you very harshly. And that's what we're seeing tonight. Well, you can say, Flemish Simsport, they deserve to be in second place. They deserve to try and fight for the race victory. But if, you only deserve it if you're able to be consistent. Olivier Wiltink and Sim District GT3 haven't made those mistakes. Martin Deckens, or Flemish Simsports rather, have. And that's just the way that the race goes.
Yeah, it's another one of the developments in the ongoing 12-hour-long story, isn't it, really? That we have witnessed so far. And
see Lucas Romano into the pits. We'll give Martin Deckens P5. But I think Martin Deckens is going to come into the pits in the next few laps as well. If he can have the stints up, Chaz, we'll be able to find out when this Flemish Simsports car is next expected to make a pit stop.
Yep, I will grab that right now. I just have to put in the positions and all sorts for this one. Martin Deckens is currently in 6th place, so for some reason my body put in 7th, obviously. Now there are the stints so far, and it doesn't actually... Oh, there you go. 20... Ah, no, he's overtaken Romano, so now he's gone 5th, so he's actually gone off the graphic. Brilliant! There you go. There he is. So, I'd say that looks like it's about 24 laps.
Difficult to see, isn't it? But I think, yeah, they do pit at roughly about the same time. Does mean that Martin Deckens' extents is still a little bit longer than Lucas Romano. Means that the final stint, the final stop rather for fuel, will be shorter for Flemish Simsports, which definitely helps them out, doesn't it, for their final stop, their final stint rather of the race. Usually as well, you'd expect the driver that will come into the car will finish the race, double stinting the tyres right up until the end. And here we go. This is it. Luke Holroyd, Porsche Sport, out on the track, Chaz.
Yeah, great to see Luke back out there. The boss man pushing the car around at least and getting some laps in at the end of the race. He's 21 laps down on the car in front. So at the end of the day, if he can just do 21 laps, then they'll actually finish not bottom. And I think if they finish the race... Technically, I think they'll be classified ahead of... Actually, no, they won't have completed half race distance, will they? But they're still in the race. That's going to be an interesting one. If he does actually go to the end now, that could certainly shake things up and at least give them some strong points. But yeah, Robin Van Gogh in the chat saying it is great to see them back out on track. And you're not wrong. You are not wrong. It is wonderful to see this car back out there. We were hoping for a big fight between them and the Sim District GT3 guys at the front, but unfortunately, just a couple of little mistakes here and there caused big damage to the car from Paul Rieger, and a number of their other drivers are busy with the Nürburgring 24 hours anyway, so they would have had to park the car further down the line.
I think Pete Mackay's busy as well with commentary duties, if I remember, Chaz, so he won't be able to... was he doing the Porsche Super Cup, Porsche Esports Super Cup, I think, on iRacing? He
is doing the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup with Paul Smith this weekend. Unfortunately, Sadekist, Matthew Trivett, is not there. Ed's chair has just snapped by the sound of it.
That was a card of mine that just fell off my desk, so that's fine. I'll leave that down there. I can't be asked to bend over and pick that up.
And yeah, Robin Van Gogh has actually made the good point that they could get 11th. Because there's only 3 laps between 11th and 12th here. He could overtake Zenom Esports 2. Not quite sure he's going to make 105 laps back on everybody else, but Luke Holroyd, fair play to him. With Neville, the trusty doggo, is on his way back around the circuit. You'll love to see it. Just ahead of them is Dieter de Vlamink in the number 4 Audi. 7 places gained so far. And still pushing. That's the main thing. Still pushing in this car. 10 hours and 20 minutes gone. And, well, what a fantastic, fantastic run they've had so far.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned as well, Chaz, Sadekist. That's a name that I think, for me at least, is more familiar talking over Counter-Strike.
It is, yeah.
I mean, it is. I've been watching him, and the first time I heard him on a sim racing broadcast, I was like, "Is that what I think it was?" And it was a bit of a strange thing, but I mean, he's obviously very good at what he does, and great to hear his voice commentating over some sim racing. And actually, he actually does a few races as well on his Twitch channel, which is good to find the crossover between the two worlds that I think you and I, Chaz, are quite familiar with. Obviously, both of us enjoy a little bit of CSGO when we get the chance to. Obviously, difficult to have those opportunities with very, very busy real-life schedules, but nevertheless, great to see a little bit of crossover.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, admittedly, I'm going to say this out loud now. When it was first announced, you know, that we've got Sadekist on, he's going to be the commentator for the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, I thought, who is this guy? Like, what? He does, like, CSGO esports stuff. Like, why are they bringing him on to do motorsport? That just doesn't seem right. But he's so good at what he does. He's a perfect fit for the role anyway, you know. He's such a good presenter as well, you know. He's a fantastic guy to have on board. Really nice guy as well. I've had a few chats with him after some of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup stuff. You know, we're not like Bezzy mates or anything, but you know, he seems like a really, really sound guy and a very, very strong talent for it. I even asked him, you know, how on earth do you commentate on Counter-Strike? Because in this, you know, the cars move around, you see them on the timing, it's very straightforward. But in Counter-Strike, you've got 10 people, 8 people. No, 10 people.
10.
Yeah, 10. Buying different weapons, using the economy in different ways, going to do different plays. How do you keep on track with it? And he says it just comes with time. You know, you get used to what people do and where they go. You know what's going to be an interesting play and what's not. And that comes with motorsport. You know, we could see some things happen in this race, or something could happen now that maybe somebody somewhere will find really exciting, or a car stepping out of shape. But to us, it will just seem normal because we're used to it. You know, oh no. Oh, Luke.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Luke, I want to cry. I want to cry. Luke. Oh, that's actually really sad. That's actually really, really sad.
It's the setup. They said earlier, didn't they, Chaz? At the start of the broadcast, loaded the wrong setup, and you can't change it. Yeah, Lizzie pipes up in the chat. Wrong setup, as we said earlier. It's the thing, as soon as you lock it in, part of firmware conditions, you can't change it. That's it. You have to stick with it, and unfortunately, that's the reason why they are down in last place. Just one mistake with the setup, but it's a mistake that if you've made it once, you don't make it again in a hurry.
Very, very true. Well, to be honest, Luke, it was a joy to see you back out there. To be honest, mate, that was...
Get it repaired, try again.
One of the saddest things I've seen, to be fair, though. Not in like a sad way as in saying, oh, that's sad, like what a sad git. But just like, oh... That's genuine heartbreak, you know, when you see him out there. We've just had a purple sector by Olivier Bultink as well, just to really drill this home. They're getting a bit of a toe off their teammates, John Bruins in the number 2 car. Luke says also, or does that mean he's drunk as well? Is that what he's referring to here? Don't drink and drive, kids. Obviously, it's not that bad in a sim, but yeah.
Oh dearie me. But no, it's really well. It was good to see you out there, Luke. Let's put it that way. It was good to see the Porsche Sport car back on track. It's a nice livery, but sadly, it's got a few more dents in it. Good try though.
Oh, bless him.
Poor Luke.
Well, the race goes on.
I think it was Neville behind the wheel. Let's put it that way. Neville, it was Neville's fault.
Naughty Neville. Get your
naughty Neville.
Get your paws off that Porsche. No.
Come on, Chaz.
Sorry.
That was bad.
I've just got a splinter off the bottom of this barrel that I'm scraping. Oh man. Wow.
Oh, we have fun. And that's the thing. Indeed. Is that that's why I've really enjoyed the broadcast on Simracersworld TV, is because of the wider community, but also the involvement we have in the YouTube chat. It's never a dull moment. If the racing quiets down, it's basically like a weird interactive podcast that me and you have, Chaz, with everyone chatting along, chipping in, and it is the right laugh. You can see the amount of laughing emojis here. It's a good time for everyone, which is the main effort. That's why we're here for... I mean, that's what we're here to do, really, isn't it, Chaz? To entertain and to do our best, and it's good to see everyone's chipping in and doing their bit to make sure it's a good, fun time for everyone.
Yeah, indeed. There's a great community here, like we've been saying. The baby is crying, apparently, says Luke. Uh-oh, you've done it now, mate. That's it. 9:30 at night here in the UK, 10:30 in Central European Summertime, CEST. And... well, for anyone that knows, that is bedtime. That is past bedtime in most places as well. Certainly past my bedtime at the moment. I'm feeling old these days, and I'm starting to go to bed at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Not that often, but yeah, I used to always see the back end of midnight. Not recently. Although I think after today, you know, despite getting a bit tired towards the end here and eventually sort of drifting away into constant elaboration and different sentiment about Simracersworld TV and our memories, and me and Hassa going on about GT cars and prototypes for about an hour. You know, I think I'll still be pretty hyped up by the end of this, because it's always good covering the racing, and obviously we want to go out with a bang here on Simracersworld TV. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not going to get naked or anything, but you know, we'll enjoy and savour the last moments, I'm sure.
Yeah, part of me thought I have a lovely bottle of JD Fire sitting there that I thought I might crack open towards
Oh.
the end, but
I'll get the Palinka.
oh, there we go. Good time for everyone. I've got a can of Monster up there as well that I can grab in an emergency if ever I feel the energy levels start to drop. But for now, we're carrying on, and it's going to be hopefully a good finish to the season. We've still got some battles to keep an eye on as they might materialise come the end. Obviously, Joel Olenbroek trying to close the gap to Lucas Romano and that RP Motorsport Verde Audi, but as well, DJ Development King Zoglu, 30 seconds separating second from third, so it's not all over yet in terms of this fight. And as well, Zoglu down to John Ruins is only 20 seconds, so again, plenty of opportunities for drivers to make inroads. 1 hour and a half remain though, Chaz, in this Spa Francorchamps race. It's going to be now or never, I think, for a lot of drivers. If they want to try and make inroads, they need to do it now.
Yeah, they need to start making the progress and turn that dial up to 11 if they want to start making that progress as well. So we may see some drivers pushing a little bit harder now into the last 90 minutes. Let's not forget that is a quarter of what a normal round of this championship would be. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, we lost question of the hour a couple of hours in, to be honest. Me and Marcus did have one. I was going to ask tomato ketchup yes or no, but that would cause a world-ending disaster of arguments.
Barbecue sauce for me.
Yep, always. I actually gag at the smell of tomato ketchup. My son loves it. I hate it. My ex, his mum, hates it. My brother always used to love it. I absolutely hate it, and literally I gag at the smell of it. So if I'm ever washing the plates or anything, I cannot touch it. Like, I just cannot. I refuse to deal with it. If you run water hot enough, it'll just fall off, and that's how I deal with it. But
oh, I love ketchup, mate, but for me, barbecue sauce is top tier.
Well, you can imagine how hard my diet has been recently with the amount of sugar that barbecue sauce has in it. I'm not allowed carbs or sugar, and I am a massive, I want to say connoisseur is the word, just to sort of exaggerate it. I love me some barbecue sauce. I have always at least 7 different kinds of barbecue sauce in the cupboard, I'd say. And I like mixing them up. As horrible as that sounds, because I know you shouldn't butcher a good barbecue sauce, I do like to mix them up.
I need to go for a barbecue in the Draycott house then, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
mate, it's a good
Oh.
thing. The other question that came through, actually, I wanted to get your opinion on this, Ed, and Marcus, funnily enough, had an opinion of what you might say to this one. With your pasta, do you like it al dente or really soft?
I'm a soft boy.
See, you and me both, mate. You and me both. And, you know, I thought that because you like chocolate in the fridge, you might like biting things that are stupidly hard, that don't need to be hard, but no, you've let...
I'm a big softie, Chaz. You know me. I'm a softie.
You like your chocolate hard, mate. You put it in the fridge.
Yeah, chocolate hard, pasta soft.
We'll leave that there. Olivier Baltic.
I mean, it's just because I'm too... I mean, it's more because I'm too lazy to cook it, to time it and cook it right. I just sort of leave it there while I'm doing other stuff.
Do you do the thing where you throw it on the wall?
What?
Have you not heard? Oh, no. Right, by the way, just while we remember there's a race going on, Olivier Baltic's just on the fastest lap of the race. Right, so what you're meant to do, Ed, with spaghetti, especially when you are cooking it, is when it starts to get cooked and to the point where you think it's cooked, you test it for how soft it is by just getting one strand of it out of the pan and throwing it at the wall. And if it sticks to the wall, it's done. If it's not, then it's not soft enough. Have you never heard of that?
Sounds like chaos in the kitchen in your house.
It's only
pasta everywhere.
No, but it's on the...
vomiting at the smell of ketchup.
It's on the
carnage.
The shiny tiled bit, so it doesn't matter. You can wipe it down. It's water. It's fine.
It's just carnage. Food flying everywhere. Chaz in the sink vomiting from ketchup that his son wants to eat.
That, and Drew Adamson seems to have the impression that my missus likes to throw axes and pans around the house, and I don't know where he's got that idea from.
Chocolate in your cupboards melting because it's not been put in the fridge.
Yeah, but you need chocolate soft, mate.
It gets soft in your mouth. It's supposed to melt in your mouth. That's the point of it.
This will never end. I think this broadcast is going to be another hour after this finishes, just so Ed and I can sort out our differences. But to be honest, we are now within the last 90 minutes of this race. 10 hour and 32 minutes done. And not much in terms of change over the last hour or so, to be honest with you. The sort of number of cars inside the top 5 do keep changing position based on where they are pitting or when they are pitting in relative time to one another. But Olivier Bultink is back in the pits once more. This is their 10th pit stop of the race. And it's a very... Oh, no, it's not a very short one because Scott McFall is getting in the car. Well, that made me certainly question something for a second there. But no, Scott McFall gets back in. And he will be flying, I'm sure. Thomas Layson has just had a problem in the Flemish Lambo. Little bit of a spin at the final chicane. We've not seen many spins for quite a while, have we, actually, Ed? That's becoming a rare occurrence now, to be honest. Since Luke's spin, anyway. That was the first one we've seen.
Yeah, not a quarter spin, not a half spin rather, but a quarter spin there from Thomas Layson. I have to say, though, seeing Scott McFall in the pits, you see the battered and bruised Porsche sport car and you just feel a bit sad seeing it there. Poor Luke. Came out on track to try and bring it to the end, and Naughty Neville. It's Naughty Neville's fault, not Luke. Luke can do no wrong. Porsche Sport are brilliant. It's all Neville.
Naughty Neville, bless him. I'm sure he's a good boy, really. But it's just one of those things in racing, you know. The Porsche, as we've seen, can be difficult to navigate around, and it's certainly bitten a number of drivers in the backside today. And I think,
as well, though, we do need to start thinking. Maybe try and get the chat on this. What's the next question? We've got an hour and a half. We need to have some more hard hitting questions, Chaz. I think.
Yeah, we do need a solid debate.
A very British one. On your scone or scone? Oh, that's the other one. Scone or scone, first of all.
Oh.
And then jam or cream.
Oh, my head.
Which first? Yeah, exactly. It's
right. Well,
a minefield.
Stupidly, because the English language is so stupid, if you add a vowel after a consonant, it changes how the vowel before it sounds. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Because if it was scone, it would be S-C-O-N. It's a scone. Because it's S-C-O-N-E.
Yes.
Scone. Although...
Like cone.
Somebody argued with me once, though, that it's O-N-E. When you say that on its own, that's one. Yeah, I know. How annoying is that? Because that's that's a good answer.
It's not a traffic con. It's a traffic cone.
Well, I get conned by traffic daily. But yeah, absolute nightmare. But it's a scone, and you have jam and cream on it, mate.
No, which do you put down first? Do you put jam first, then cream, or cream first, then jam?
You've got to treat it like it's a burger. You have the darker bit goes on first, which is the jam, like a burger, and then you have what would be the cheese, which is the cream on top. I know it's a stupid way of saying it, but it's just how it is in my brain. What about you, mate? Have you got a preference? I imagine, based on your reaction, that we agree on scone.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really mind. What I do is I go for chaos. I have the scone half. I put cream on first, then jam on second, but then I put the two halves together and put it upside down just to upset everyone. So it doesn't matter which way I put it on. The silence is deafening from Chaz here.
Yeah, yeah.
Have I broken you? Is that it? Has it taken us, so many rounds of this series to finally break you, Chaz? Have I done it?
I think so. Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Porsche Sport. No. Tea cake, cob, bread cake.
Bread cake?
Bread cake?
What's a bread cake?
Bread cake sounds like it should be like a corner at Donington Park. Never mind Redgate. You got bread cake. I'm lost for words now. We've got to that point, haven't we, Ed? I think we've been broke. Well, I've been broken anyway. I think you sound like you're actually clinging on to some sanity at this point. Then again, I don't know.
I like to pretend I'm very good at pretending that I know what I'm talking about, Chaz. It's how I've gotten this far. If anyone finds out that I'm speaking complete nonsense, it's over for me. I have to keep this up.
Oh, mate. What are we going to do?
This is the moments that everyone is looking forward to. Everyone loves in these endurance commentators. I mean, we've glossed over this, but Olivier Balting's been driving on 100% force feedback. Such is his advantage. He's just like, you know what?
Are you
I'm
all right,
going to
mate?
completely rinse through my arms. I don't know why Olivier's doing that, but...
Well, at least he's making sure that he works hard for this race result.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for free. Fair play, sunshine. To be honest with you, Porsche Sport, I like the word bap because when I was younger, my childminder used to call like a sandwich or like a bread roll a bap. I don't call it a bread roll because it's not a roll, it's actually a bun because that's what it is. It's a bun. But yeah, I like the word bap. I mean, who doesn't love a good bap anyway? But to be honest with you, I don't think any of those words are in it. Cob is an interesting one because surely that's just corn. I just think it's sweet corn. But
I thought cob's a different type of bread roll that you'd have with like a soup or something. It's like a type of, it's like a bigger round sort of
I'm going to go on
bread
Google.
loaf.
Cob. The central cylindrical woody part of the maize ear to which the grains are attached. There you go. Oh no, a round loaf of bread. A round granary cob.
Ah! I know,
Cob.
I know what I'm talking about in bread. I've got bread knowledge. There we go.
Tea cake for us, says Porsche Sport. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if we're talking about like, what? So we're talking about, for me, it's a bread roll. You have a ham roll. It's a bread roll. But maybe this is the weird north-south divide. I mean, I'm from Norfolk, where we do everything wrong.
You've all got webbed feet, so...
Makes us good at swimming.
It does. Then again, you're close to the coast anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It helps us. We can, paddle around the Norfolk Broads. That's what we do.
We've got big
No.
noses over here, so with our big cities like Manchester and Liverpool, we can breathe in all the fumes a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, all the coal smoke from you being up north.
Up north. Then again, we're probably level actually in terms of how northern we are.
Yeah, I've
If
moved
you
slightly
looked
further
at
up
it-
north.
If you looked at it on a map, and you saw Crewe in terms of where Norfolk is, we're quite level. Actually, I'm only a little bit more northern than you, I'd say.
I've moved further north because I'm currently in Lincoln for university. So
Oh yeah, well yeah, we're nearly level actually. Lincoln and
Yeah.
Crewe both show up from very far away on Google Maps, so we're quite lucky. But yeah, we're both similarly northern, I'd say. But there are a lot of differences to these very strange people in the south.
strange folks.
Yeah, strange folk. Ed is... Oh, your location is being questioned by Porsche Sport. He's Lincoln. Belgium...
I'm Lincoln, I am.
Well,
There's lots of air bases, which Chaz is, I'm sure, very jealous of.
I am. I was at Coningsby not too long ago. Belgian waffles, please, says DynamiXX Race Simulators. Yes. That's all I can say to that. Yes. Lincoln is not north. Okay.
It's north for me. I'm from Norfolk, so that's north for me.
It's not more north than some places.
It's as far north as I'm comfortable going. I can't go any higher than Hull, otherwise I'll get scared.
And he has to go through decompression when he comes back.
Yeah, I get scared. I've been Hull once. They have a very nice aquarium, but after that I got very scared and had to go home.
Oh man.
Northerners actually look at you and talk to you, whereas when you're in the south, people just are grumpy, and I'm used to that.
Well, yeah, I know a number of grumpy people.
If you've ever been around London, down south around near sort of Essex way, people are angry and grumpy. They don't look at you, they don't talk to you, they're not friendly, and I'm used to that. It makes me feel at home and comforted.
What are we doing?
What are we? I mean, there's a race going on at some point,
Yay.
but everyone's having fun here.
Look at the race cars.
I noticed it's talking about Belgian waffles, and there is actually a very good place in Lincoln that does really nice waffles. I've been meaning to go for the longest time. This DynamiXX, you might have inspired me to go down there and check them out over the weekend. Actually, tomorrow. It's still a weekend tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah,
the days are blending into one for me. It's.
Well, when we finish this evening, I think I'm commentating at 7 a.m. again tomorrow in the morning, so I'm going to be probably going straight to bed after this, to be honest with you. But I've done a lot of late nights before with this sort of stuff, so I think we'll be all right, to be honest with you. It'll be fine.
We're soldiering on. We're carrying on.
Yeah, man. That's it. We do crack on. I need to check, actually, when I'm due on tomorrow. So, yeah. 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. I'm on. Then I do 9 till 10. And then I do 11 till 12, and then I'm on till about 2 o'clock actually in the afternoon.
Yeah. Busy boy.
Indeed. It's going to be a long day. Even so.
This has been a long day for you as well, mate. You've been up since the wee hours of the morning, getting all this sorted and sticking with it for the whole 12 hours. I mean, to be fair, you say that I was mad for doing 12 hours of the virtual Balcar. Mate, you're just as bad for doing 12 hours of this from start to finish.
Yeah, it's very true. It's been a long day, but it's been an enjoyable one at that. The lights should come on the cars very soon, I'm sure. Scott McFall still leads the way. These guys are nearly 5 minutes clear of everybody else. McChallenged by DB, 2 laps down already now. I say already, it's 10 and 3/4 hours in. Kemal Yagizoglu still third for Dynamics Pink. 4th place still going the way of Sim District by BMS Esport NL. And then Lucas Romano is in 5th position for RP Motorsport Verde. They're having quite an under-the-radar performance, especially at this point. Zenem Esports are in 6th, with Flemish Sim Sports holding on to 7th position. And the last car running at the moment is Pepijn Mertens in the Tri-Racing Porsche. 3 places gained for car 3, still running in 8th position outright. The cars we've lost so far are the McChallenge by DB Audi, Decimo BE Porsche, Lamborghini of Zenem Esports 2, Team Tice Porsche, and the Porsche Sport Porsche as well. Not long now until Ed and I have our final break of the broadcast. And we will be gone for another 10 minutes this time, just to make sure we chill out a little bit, just maybe get our head in the game, think, is it scone, is it scone? And then we can come back and enjoy the final hour of this very, very long race. And this, well, it's a very intriguing season. You know, we've had a lot of fun with this championship, to be fair. Had some brilliant, brilliant memories and great racing throughout. And to be honest, the fact that this entire event has gone so smoothly for the majority of them is just a testament to the drivers and the organisers and everybody working together here to make sure that stuff like this can run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Scott McFall and Olivier Boltink, class of the field. I keep saying it every single round. They have been the team to beat, and no one has been able to find that missing ingredient to come out on top. And another credit has to go to them, because it's just been the pair of them. For this entire 12 hours, only 2 drivers are to split driving duties as equally as they can do. I mean, Olivier Boltink's arms will have already been shredded from the earlier stints, and then decided that last one to run at 100% force feedback. Oh my word. How on earth have they been able to keep up this level of pace for so long? It does boggle the mind a little bit, Chaz, and the consistency as well. I mean, from the 5 hours that I've been watching them in this race so far, not a single mistake coming through as the lights now begin to shine from the front of their Lamborghini Huracan GT3 car. We are approaching the final hour, Chaz, and it's up to everyone in the YouTube chat to try and let us know who they want to go on board with for the final time on Simracersworld TV.
That is very, very true. How do you do a poll in chat? I don't think you can do them, can you?
I can't remember. I don't think... I mean, there might be a way to do it.
I'm going to Google it.
And while Chaz Googles that, you can watch Scott come down through Bruxelles into Malmedy. You can keep seeing... I mean, we see this every time, Chaz, don't we? That they lap like it's qualifying, even in the race. It's inch perfect every time, using all of the track on the way into Fuon and on the way out as well. There is obviously a reason why they are 2 laps ahead of everybody on the road, and we're seeing that put on full display. Coming through Piff Paff now, using the curb on the inside on either edge, expanding the corner as much as they can do, widening it so it's less narrow. They can carry the momentum, the speed through.
We'll give them some options, shall we? We'll go with the number 45 Sim District Lamborghini. We'll go for the number 4 McChallenge Audi. And there will be a poll for this, by the way, everybody, so don't vote or say anything yet. And then the number 88 DynamiXX pink, if I can spell dynamics.
I think we had dynamics at the last break, didn't we, Chaz? The 88.
We did, so I'm going to throw a different one in the mix. And boom. Has that worked? There we go. We have a few minutes. Thomas Layson has just had a crash, I'm afraid, and I believe this might have been... Ah. Oh, no. Oh. No.
I've done that.
Thomas.
I had a horrible flashback to something that I've done, and he's Austin Powers it. Oh, dear.
No heck. Well, he's got to do it, I guess. You've got to do it.
I've done that before, and it is... Oh, my word. I've had horrible flashbacks. Thank you for quickly moving on from that, Chaz, because that was I was having some very, very bad memories from previous races I've had at Spa. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen a number of drivers go into that. I was actually part of a 6-car train once going into there, and the lead car lost it, banged the rear end against the wall, and proper wedged it in there, but he was facing backwards, completely backwards, and he had to reverse while the rest of us piled into one another, and everybody tried to sort it out. So, yeah, it's certainly a tricky pit entry because, as well, you come through there and not only do you just skim that wall, but you have to chuck the car around the corner as well, and then try and keep it nice and tight between the walls, which are very, very narrow on their own, and then get it slowed down for the pit lane as well. And when you do floor it in that little straight line, you can very easily misjudge either the acceleration of your car or the way that it slows down. Bart Paré in the chat, thank you very much, mate. Great work from you guys as well. We really appreciate you coming in and giving us the wonderful, kind words. Porsche Sport saying, okay, next question. Why am I suddenly scared?
Yeah, that's got the heart rate racing a little bit. We've just been able to sort of focus back on the racing, and now Porsche Sport seeks to derail the broadcast.
Oh, no, full fat.
No, I'm a green boy.
Green boy. To be fair,
semi-skimmed.
In our household, we do have a lot of semi-skimmed Cravendale. Other milk is available, but it's just not as good. And to be honest, I don't know, if I'm having a milkshake or something, you know, I want to feel it clogging my arteries. You know, I want to go full fat milk.
If I have full fat, that's been knocked out for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, you're lactose intolerant, aren't you?
I still have it. I still have semi-skimmed. It's not the best for me, but it's definitely, it could be worse. Full fat would decimate me. Semi-skimmed, you know, it
not
breaks
too
me,
bad.
but it doesn't completely demolish me.
It's like my brother is lactose intolerant, and he the amount of time I see him eating pizza or just cheese on stuff, like, I'm just thinking, what are you doing to yourself? But he don't care. He puts up with it.
Cheese is too nice. It's too good. It's worth it.
It is. Someone get Ed a shot of full fat. Yeah, Ed, shots. Shots for Ed.
No, because if I do, then I won't come back from my final toilet break, apparently. Apparently, Porsche Sport.
Yeah, it'll be the longest toilet break anyone's ever had on a sim.
We've already had this discussion, didn't we, at the start of the broadcast about having dairy before, and I mean,
I will say before
I came on. During, yeah. I mean, to be fair, just before jumping in on the run through house, I did have a massive bowl of cereal.
Get in, loads of milk.
Loads of milk.
Now here's one.
At the brim.
There's a question. Cereal, milk or no milk? Because as much as I like milk, I cannot drink it on its own. And I will not have it on cereal. I have cereal dry. Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep. Cereal dry for me. There you go. There's a new one. Have it.
Please, what cereal do you have? Please tell me not Weetabix. If you have dry Weetabix, I will...
No, I'm not trying to turn my lungs into sawdust. I'm more...
Okay. I mean, you're definitely doing it anyway, though, without having milk on you. I mean...
Things like, you know, Cocoa Pops, other round rabbit poo shaped things are available. But like,
just have biscuits at that point. Just have a biscuit.
I do like a digestive. Oh, here's another one. Here we go. Right, we're on a roll now. When you eat a chocolate digestive, do you have it chocolate side down or chocolate side up?
Down. Melts.
Ah, I see. I know you're supposed to have it down, but I have it up.
I mean, I have it with a chocolate hobnob down because I don't really like chocolate digestives that much.
Oh, I like chocolate digestives, but yeah, I love a chocolate hobnob. Love a chocolate hobnob. Wonderful things. But again, I have it up, and I don't know why. Because I know that it's probably better down, but I can't do it to myself. I hate getting anything on my hands. But that's the weird OCD of me. I've got 2 bottles of hand sanitizer. Actually, where's my second one? I've got a bottle of hand sanitizer on my desk at all times, and I've probably covered my hands in it about 6 times during the broadcast because I hate it when my hands get like clammy and have anything on. But that's part of the way my brain works and the way that my OCD comes in with stuff. It's just part of it. But
I'm pretty similar, but it's mostly from basically as soon as ever I leave the house, immediately quick, where's the hand sanitizer? Get clean, get clean, get clean.
Yeah. No, I'm
with everything going around, I mean, cases are rising in the UK. Let's put it that way. It's
Say that
definitely, it's the air is spicy. I think is the nicest way.
It is
filled with germs.
Spicy with COVID. It's well seasoned, I think is the way of putting it. We did have a nice little bit of flashing of the lights there by Didi Vlamink in the Audi. Robin van Gogh here on our screens in 4th position at the moment. And to be honest,
do not agree with you, by the way, Chaz, on your cereal.
Oh, I know, yeah, no, not many people do, if I'm honest with you, mate. There's always, whenever I mention that, there is always a big backlash. One of the worst things, you got to feel sorry for my poor son, because I always have cereal dry. I often, when I'm making him cereal, I often forget that he doesn't always have it dry, and he has milk with his, but I just forget to put it in. I'm not trying to convert him. I'm not doing it on purpose. I genuinely forget. But
take a bowl of rum with some cereal and put it. DynamiXX, what are you doing?
Wow, that sounds like a really cool shot. Let's do it.
This what rum? I mean, I've got some rum somewhere.
I'm
a student. I'm never far from a bottle of alcohol.
I was gonna say, but like, set a bowl of cereal on fire with rum in it. That's one of the best suggestions I've ever seen during a sim racing broadcast. Yeah, that did escalate quickly, says Porsche Sport. Right, we're going to end the poll now. And is it going to give me results? Oh, it's a tie. It's a tie between the Sim District Lamborghini and the Tri-Racing Porsche. Now, we have had the race leaders, I think, over this one, and we've seen a lot of them. So I think we're going to do the Tri-Racing Porsche. We're going to give these boys the airtime they deserve because, you know, they're not having the easiest of races, but they are continuing to pound around and get the laps in. You know, they have been so consistent. And, you know, they've got one of the best looking, one of the best sounding cars out there. So we will go on board with them for the last ever mid-broadcast break here on Simracersworld TV. And the last ever on board and all that other stuff. It won't be the last on board, but you know what I mean, during a break and so on. Either way, me, Chaz Draycott, and Ed May will be back with you in about 10 minutes, everybody. Enjoy the ride, enjoy the view, and we'll see you soon. Well, there you go, everybody. The final break from a broadcast midway through is complete here on Simracersworld TV. You are with us for the final hour of racing that will ever be live broadcast on this channel. It's fantastic to have you all with us. There's a number of you that have been with us from the very start of today's broadcast, even through all 4 parts of it as well, and the part without any commentary on it at all. Chaz Draycott here with Ed May. We were riding on board for a while there with Pepijn Mertens in the tri-racing Porsche. And as Olivier Bultink has mentioned, Ed, the whine from that Porsche gearbox, and even just the sound of it in general, is incredible, isn't it?
It's a real beauty, isn't it? Just to hear and to see as well around the track. I mean, what a wonderful livery that tri-racing number 3 is sporting. Nice asymmetrical design, which not too many teams actually operate. And I think, Chaz, we might be having for the final time on Simracersworld TV, Ed's internet issues coming through.
Yay! What's the crack? Is it just general poor
General,
connection?
it seems to be. I mean, when you brought us back in, Chaz, it went very robotic, and Mertens was blinking in and out a lot for me. But I was checking the broadcast on the YouTube channel, and everything seemed fine. So I'll be keeping my eye open for it. It's into the final hour, so hopefully it isn't going to affect the broadcast too much. But I'll keep my eyes open. It seems to have sorted itself out for the moment, Chaz. But I'm going to keep my eyes open, and I'm going to be ready to smack the router if it starts to misbehave.
That's fair enough, mate. All good from me. I do not mind at all. I've had my fair share of internet problems myself, so don't you worry. If anything goes to pot, we will be happy to be patient with you, mate. I know how difficult it can be with internet problems. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and there's nothing we can do. It's a pain in the backside. One of my concerns for today's race was the length of the race. In fact, funnily enough, I've had long broadcasts before where the hard drive that I broadcast from has gotten very close to being full, and once that has basically filled up, the sim just stops dead because of the replay spooling, and the whole sim just completely dies. And it's done that a few times before, but luckily now I've got a lot more space on the drive after clearing a load of useless rubbish off, mostly screenshots that I took, and now we're good. I think I've still got like 42 gig left. That'll just about do out of 1 terabyte. But Scott McFall, he doesn't care how much memory I've got left on my hard drive. They don't care about much right now, other than the fact that they are going very, very well indeed, as you expect. 6.25 minutes ahead of this car, Jeremy De Bover, in the number 4 challenged by DB Audi, which has been doing a mega job as well. And Jesse Hendricks in 3rd place now in the Dynamics pink car. Now these are much closer together than they were before. 7 seconds between them, only 7 laps difference in terms of when they pitted. So this is getting closer and closer towards the end here, Ed.
Yeah, it really is, and that's when we start to see the spiciness come through, isn't it, Chaz? Hopefully we see some cars come close together. I mean, we are seeing Jesse Hendricks try and close in to Jeremy De Bover by the looks of things here, Chaz, which... there's a little bit of excitement starting to come through. De Bover and Hendricks needing to make one further pit stop, I think, before the end of the race, if my reckoning is correct. And that's going to be, very spicy indeed. I think the advantage will be in the hands of Jeremy De Bover, even though the lap times are that little bit slower. He is still able to have a lot more of a shorter final pit stop, on account of coming in on lap 283, whereas Jesse Hendricks last came in on lap 276.
Yeah.
So that this Dynamics pink car will need to take longer in the fuel stopping department. But I think the lap times are definitely there for that car to try and make something up here.
Yeah, it really is. And we will see the difference between the two of them. It's updating a lot quicker than it usually does, to be fair. I don't always have it doing that, but either way, it's doing it now. Oh well. Yeah, 7.3 seconds between the two. As you see, it is changing and changing and changing all of the time. That's relative on that lap. There's the gap. And it will change. There you go. 7.4 seconds between the two, and it stays that way. That was the relative in terms of the current lap that they're on, like the difference between the two, I think. Either way, we know what it is now. and that is the gap between the two cars as they are on the road and as they clip the timing beams. It's any cars that are within 10 seconds of each other, and there are only 2 of them on the road, and we're looking at them now. And Olivier Bultink doesn't think that Jeremy needs to do a pit stop here because he pitted after there was an hour or less than an hour to go in this race. So we'll have to see how that develops. But we'll stick with these 2 cars for now. And just do bear in mind that when we change like that, as you'll see there on the bottom right, the timing does change. It just takes a second to recalculate the next time they cross any sort of timing beams. 7.6 seconds is now the gap. So it will fluctuate a couple of tenths each lap. We'll see what lap times they do, and we'll keep our eye on it because this could get very, very interesting indeed. I think it may close up, but we'll have to see. Jesse Hendricks has been quick throughout this race, and they always are, aren't they? The Dynamics Pink team, you know, their qualifying performances aren't to die for, but their race pace is certainly good. I mean, same with McChallenge by DB. You know, they've gained 7 places. They started 9th, and Jesse Hendricks started just in front of them in 7th place. So the fact that both of these teams have made their way up the order to get to where they are now, really, really good going, it has to be said.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chaz has, hopefully it's fine, but I think there was a little bit of blinking in and out. There still is. So, again, it's not quite out of the woods yet, but hopefully it's all going to chill out for the remaining hour of racing, and hopefully post-broadcast interviews as well. Gap increasing there, although Chaz to 8 seconds. So Dabova out of the pits is starting to get a bit of a move on a long pit stop as well, which tells us that Jeremy took tyres and has a fresh pair of boots for this final stint of racing.
Yeah, indeed. And that can be all important, you know, to have that fresh rubber, to have the pace in your back pocket. We'll have to just keep our eye on it. 8.1 seconds now the gap has gone up to. Once it gets to 10 seconds, we will see that battle box disappear completely. That will measure up to 10 seconds as I've told it to right now. And we're into the final 47 minutes of this race. I know that's not really a milestone figure, that's for sure. But still, that is where we're at the moment. And Scott McFall.
Interestingly, sorry just to come in, is that Jesse Hendricks' last pit stop was a short one, which tells us his next one will be longer to take tyres, you would guess. If Jesse Hendricks does need to come in for one further pit stop, might be a splash and dash, might be able to get away with it, but also might be one where he decides, you know what, I'll come in early, I'll take tyres, and I'll have a very quick final stint, which will mean that Robin van Gogh and Lucas Romano in behind could have an avenue to get something from this. It's all down to what Dynamics Pink decide to do in the strategy to try and hold on to this podium place now.
Yeah, there's only a certain amount you can do as a team, but push, push, push is pretty much the basics of it, isn't it, right now? They just need to really crack on with this and put every single lap down like it is a qualifying lap and work very, very hard. Every single sector needs to be one of their very best throughout the race. And Jeremy Dabova is the one in the box seat right now. He's got fresher rubber on that car, almost an hour newer, those tyres, in terms of how long they've been used for, and the gap is up to 8.4 seconds. So over the last lap or two, it's gone up by a good second. And you can see as well the number boards on these cars starting to glow more as well. It's really cool that they've done them in that light blue, so they look great as they glow in the dark. And there was a big bang there in the pit lane. Was that the Porsche Sport Porsche? Maybe. Because we've seen this before where cars blow up in the pit lane when they've been there long enough. I think that was one of them. Navarro Dabova is back out on track. Now, I did not notice that. So they're 116 laps down. But still, great to see the number 10 Audi back out on track as well. That's lovely. So it becomes 9 cars now back out in the race. And they know that they're on stream as well, so they're giving us a flash of the lights. I love that. Ed does that as well when he's on track.
I do. And it feels good when you're a commentator when you see that, doesn't it? That's why I like doing it, because you know that they're involved, they're listening along, they're involved, and yeah, it's wonderful. Good to see that number 10 car up on the circuit, challenged by DB. I mean, at the start of the broadcast, it was wonderful to have both of those cars because we were missing one last time out
Mm.
at Montreal. So good to have them both here. Good to have RP Motorsport Verde back as well. They're not having a bad race at all. Currently up in 5th place, and this is going to be their final stop of the race. Head of, well, I was going to say head of Flemish Simsports, but they've also decided to come into the pits, and you have to say it has been a really unfortunate evening for Flemish Simsports. They've had great pace, but just not the consistency. Mistakes creeping in. I mean, the most recent stint that they had was marred by quite a few half spins through that final chicane, Chaz, that has seen them drop almost completely out of that fight for a P5 finish.
Yeah, and one of the main things is that these battles can come and go, and just because a driver or a team is on a different pit strategy, sometimes it can put you off in terms of what you want to take from a race or how a battle is going. You know, it's actually more difficult for us to fathom who is pitting and when, and who's on what strategy in the sim. You know, we've seen a lot before where because you don't see the pit crews, you don't see the pit stops taking place, and you can't sort of have a look at the condition of the tyres visually and see what's going on. You know, there's no team radio that's made public to all of us. We have to basically speculate most of the time with what's going on with the strategies in these races. And I think that's what makes it even more interesting for us, because, you know, we can speculate, we can make stuff up, but we'll never know until the very end, I guess.
No, we won't, and that's the beauty of these endurance races, isn't it, Chaz? You can think all you want, you can speculate as much as you'd like to, but at the end of the day, you never really know what's going to happen until that checkered flag falls. One thing that I think is a safe bet is the eventual race winners will be Sim District T3 by Vibe BMS Esports, the 45 Lamborghini currently piloted by Scott McFall, but with driving duties shared by Olivier Bultink, who's been certainly involved. In fact, by the pair of them, good to see them involved in the chat whenever they're not racing. They're here chatting and keeping us company. They have been a real class act all season long, both in terms of their racing ability, but also their sportsman-like driving. They've never been, like I think you were saying earlier, Chaz, they never ever got too big-headed. They really relish the fights when they come, and I'm certain that they'll be looking forward to the future here with the Dynamics Racing Simulators branding and getting involved with whatever it holds for them in the new chapter post Simracersworld TV.
Yeah, definitely. You know, brands like this, they always thrive and continue to develop and grow, and to have been a part of that as Simracersworld TV, it's been fantastic. You know, the partnership between Simracersworld and Dynamics has been one of the very best from the very start. You know, we've all had a fantastic time with it. We've all enjoyed each other's company. You know, I got on board with it a few years ago when I started doing the broadcasting as Simracersworld TV, and you know, Ian and all of the guys that he's known throughout the entire Belgian sim racing community as well has just been great. You know, Ian's really enjoyed it as well, so have the guys. And, you know, we've all had something out of it. You know, we've got to enjoy great racing, fantastic fun broadcasts. A number of them all have met up a few times in the real world at different race meetings and all sorts. You know, it's fantastic to see this community all come together in the many different ways that it can. Porsche Sport getting more sentimental about the last time it's the 291st lap on this channel. And that is a big shame, to be honest with you. It's one of my favourite lap numbers. Indeed, it's 291. But all good things must come to an end. We need to remember that. We need to remember that. But still, not long left to go now, Ed. About 40 minutes, and to be fair, I said with about 40 minutes to go, we would probably be getting under lights and be dark for the last 40 minutes or so, I should say. And here we are. 40 minutes to go. It's getting dark. But it's not as dark as I thought it would be for this last one. I think we're only going to be in pitch darkness maybe for about the last 20 minutes here, because it's still quite sunsetty. If we go on board with the Audi, you can see that the lights still lighting up the way, but definitely the sky is not dark yet.
No, not yet, which is, I mean, to be fair, I do like this stage of the race, stage of the day-night transition, because it is definitely getting darker, but not dark enough to fully obscure these wonderful liveries that everyone's running. I mean, now that we've got the all of the sort of paints, I guess, sorted out. There are some absolute stunners. I mean, this challenge by DV, the number 4. I mean, you keep saying every single broadcast just how it looks brilliantly, but you have to say the new one is something else. It is an absolute feast for the eyes.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a great looking car, absolutely great looking car. And I mean, it's always nice when you see teams running different liveries, even whether it's a one-off for a special event or something, or you know, whether they have something that they run for one championship and then run a different livery for another. You know, we see that a few times with even just some of the stickers that you see on a certain car, like the number boards and so on. It is great to see that variation as Jeremy DeBova goes down the inside of the Lamborghini and then back onto the start-finish straight. 9 seconds the gap from McChallenge by DB back to Dynamics Pink. So it is continuing to grow. There is the Dynamics car just coming through onto the start-finish straight now. They've got some work to do, although it's back down to 8.7. I'd probably argue a little bit that the traffic might have just made Jeremy a little bit cautious in those final couple of corners, but it's only a couple of tenths, and what's that between friends? Nearly into the last half hour of the race, and the pit stops, I think, will be pretty much done at this point. Let's have a look at our top 5 at least, and just see where they are in terms of their stints. And well, they're getting to the point now where 25 lap stints don't even show up because it's too small for the text. But you can see some of them actually have completed it recently, and some may need to do one more. We might actually get one more out of our race leader, I think, which would be not completely detrimental to their performance, it has to be said.
They did a 28 lap stint last time around. 28.
Yeah, they've done a couple of them, hasn't they, as well? And bear in mind, everyone else is doing 25, 26, 27 at most. That's incredible. Really incredible. I mean, Scott said it himself in the chat earlier that, you know, Olivier Bultink is just, he's too good at saving fuel. It's mad.
Absolutely nuts. That's definitely an off track, if ever I've seen one. Running very wide through speakers or Jackie X corner. Into Puan or Double Gauche. Last time we'll be getting, it won't be the last time we'll be getting confused over corner names, is it? We'll be having all of that right up until the final lap, I'm certain. But this is a very nice Dynamics Pink car, especially now that it's gotten even darker, I think, over the past 2 minutes, Chaz. It really is getting dark very fast here at Spa.
It is indeed.
Brake discs glowing, aren't you, at the rear end?
I love a bit of that as well, and we get to see more of that as the race sort of comes to a conclusion. And as the light drops, we will see more and more of these brake discs glowing as drivers start to push their cars more and more. You know, it's just because it's getting cooler out there on track doesn't mean that the brakes are getting any cooler. As we saw before, I'll bring it back up now actually. The weather currently still 20 degrees air temperature as it has been most of the race, but the track now down to a nice cool 21 degrees. And at one point it was 41 degrees Celsius when Marcus and I were watching it, so just shows you how much it's changed since the sun was up earlier on.
Yeah, it does. It is a little bit temperamental here. It doesn't obviously have the, look at that glow, the classic Spa microclimate where it can rain 1 minute and then be sunny elsewhere. I mean, it's a massive circuit as well. I can't wait till iRacing brings in the inclement weather, because you can have some areas of the track that are bone dry and other areas where it's torrential rain, and that is something I'm really looking forward to seeing, not only as a commentator but also as a racing driver, because I love these endurance style races, getting behind the wheel, all these different strategies coming through, and just a little bit of weather can completely throw the race on its head.
It certainly can. You know, you can have drying lines when the race lets up, or you can have, even if it's drizzling a little bit and the circuit isn't getting too drenched, you know, you can have a dry line that remains simply because this car's still running over it. And then, much like we get with iRacing with the marbles that you'll see around the circuit, offline there will be less grip. You know, you will see a difference in how the cars behave, and you will feel that big understeer if you do go off of the racing line. And in wet weather, that's going to be even more important than when it comes to dry conditions with marbles on the road. But this gap
especially as well, I was going to say, with the rain, it can completely change the track when it gets dry as well, make it completely green again.
Yeah, very much so. It can wash away that sort of rubber defect and all of the wear that has been put down on the road. So it'll be great to see how that develops. This is a bit of a blink in and out there by the RP Motorsport Verde car. But what I was going to say is that this gap it's fluctuating a couple of tenths at a time, but it's not actually changed that much, has it really? I mean, it's 7.7 now. When we first started watching these guys, it was 7.4. At one point, it was 9 seconds, but Jesse Hendricks certainly not dropping away massively here, is he?
No, definitely not. I do think that Dynamics Pink Card does need to make one further pit stop before the end of proceedings. Scott McFall is about to come in probably in the next minute or 5. I don't know how many. I mean, Vibe BMS Esports, they operate on their own fuel calculations, don't they? They're very, very good at just sipping the minimum required fuel to get around this Spa circuit while still pumping out ridiculously fast lap times. Being Scott McFall's last effort was a 2 minute 15.67, which is scary quick.
It's half a second off the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah,
pretty mad.
It's very, very fast for Scott McFall, to say the least, and well, a good 2 seconds quicker than pretty much anybody else on the circuit at this current moment in time.
Yeah, it's incredible pace once again, and we do love to see it. You know, they've been a real driving force of this championship from the start, and I can confirm to you that if we get into the last 6 minutes of this race, and well, basically, if Scott McFall starts the 3rd to last lap, nobody can actually beat them, and that will be it. So they just need to enter the 3rd to last lap with the gap they've got now, and that'll be it, because they are over 2 laps ahead of everybody, so no one will be able to unlap themselves enough times.
How close, though, Chaz, are they to getting 3 laps on everybody? Where is Sim District in relation to the Challenge car? So there's Scott McFall just coming through Speaker's corner, and then if we go,
I don't think they'll get that in half an hour. As daft as that sounds, because we know how quick they are, I don't think we'll get that in half an hour. Olivier Bultink says Scott's going for the fastest lap, so you never know, we might get that.
Yeah, I mean, what's the lap difference? I mean, let's have a look. Scott McFall did a 2 minutes 16.3. Jeremy DeBova did a 2:19.2. So that's almost 3 seconds, Chaz. I wouldn't be so sure that he's not going to catch him, you know?
Yeah, that is pretty nuts, isn't it, actually? That is a big difference in pace. Yeah, this could happen, actually. This definitely could happen, you are right. I apologise for my misjudgment.
Does depend, though, on this next pit stop, if Jeremy DeBova needs to make one extra pit stop or not. We know for certain that Sim District GT3, the 45 Lambo, does need to stop again.
Yeah.
There's a question mark over the Audi in second, though. So if there is that extra pit stop, maybe it's on the cards, but it'll have to be a monumental drive from Scott McFall, I think, to put 3 laps on the entire field.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to have to push very, very hard indeed. But, you know, if anyone can do it, it's this team. Definitely this team. We'll have to wait and see whether they do manage it or not, but I'm still excited to see how
2:15.4.
Wow, and it's a purple final sector as well on that lap by Scott McFall, and that's without any slipstream or any assistance. So this Lambo, certainly now, it's kind of like at the end of the second Star Wars film when you suddenly see Yoda like just go absolutely nuts with the lightsaber and they have that amazing battle. You know, it's like they're just suddenly unleashing all the power they've got. You know, they've held it back a little bit, they've kept it in their pocket, and now it's just like, boom, look at what we can do. And here is the ultimate pace of this Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esport Lamborghini, the absolute powerhouse that has been leading this championship and leading every race from the start. Very few chinks in the armour we have seen this season, and right now they're showing us exactly what they're made of. So close to the fastest lap of the race, which they already have anyway, 2:15.17. So to be honest, there's not a massive amount that they'll need to do. We'll show you at the top there, and at the best time, 2:15.174. That is what he is after, and you may see on the left hand side that the lap time will maybe slide out. No, it won't actually. We'll give you the slide out lap times on the left, so sorry about that. You'll see the now every time a car crosses the line on the timing tower on the left, it will slide out and tell you what lap time they've just done. There you go, there's an example there. Tri Racing in a 2:17.607, and we'll keep that best lap up there at the top of the screen as well, I think, because it's worth having, isn't it, just to know when he beats it, so we do get some sort of sense of occasion when that time does topple, and I believe it may. But right now, We're into the last half hour of the race here, Ed. 11 and a half hours completed in this race. My ears are killing me because this headset is way too tight, but it's a full-on broadcast headset, so what do I expect? But still, it's been great fun so far, this broadcast, mate, and it's been good to have you with me for 6 of the 12 hours. And here is to the last half hour, but in comes Scott McFall into the pits. Final stop is necessary by them then. And now, is it just going to be, well, it'll be a splash and dash for sure, and then he'll go off chasing down at least
Will he
this
take
car.
tyres, though, to try and get that fastest lap?
Olivier's saying yes.
Yep, there he goes. New tyres.
Yep, he's going to get some fresh rubber on it, so he's going to take some fuel, take the tyres, and he's going to absolutely go for it. Fair play, fair play. They are great showmen, it must be said. It's wonderful to see it.
I want to see if we can get the on board for him to try and challenge for that fastest lap, because you know he is going to be. I mean, he's just chatted. He's just put a message in the chat. Full send. He's got new rubber. He is absolutely gunning for this fastest lap. Bragging rights between the pair of them, Olivier Boulting and Scott McFall. I mean, I say it every time. I'm blown away by how evenly matched they are on pace. You can't really say that one driver is quicker than the other, can you, Chaz? And that is the main reason why they have been the team to beat. And why it's so difficult to beat them, because they're consistently quick across both drivers.
Well, that's it. I mean, they've got the consistent pace. And, well...
What can you do?
Yeah.
You know? What can you do in those situations? Just put yourself in the position of, say, Jeremy DeVoe and McChallenge. They might be able to, over one stint, have one driver that can match either Scott McFall or Olivier Boulting, but that one driver, they can't run the entire race. They'll need to swap out, and at that stage, they don't have any answer for it. They'll just see Scott get further and further down the road and have no way to answer back. And that's the thing, is that you can't hope for them to make a mistake, either have a little spin here and there, because they don't do that. That's not what Sim District GT3, that Lamborghini, does. They just churn out the laps time and time again, and they have their little good inter-team rivalries. We're seeing Scott McFall now, just on his outlap, I think, going to grips with the car and getting ready to start a hot lap.
Yes, indeed. He's going to be really pushing it now. Absolutely wringing the neck of this thing. I wanted to update you on SDK's take on the off-tracks situation.
Oh, no.
So far in this race, let's go for a top 3, shall we? The top 3 in the off-tracks, according to SDK, we have Jesse Hendricks, the Dynamics Pink car, 3rd place, 320 off-tracks apparently. The Flemish Sim Sports car, 2nd place out of them with 397. And obviously I know, Ed, you have joined the session and left it again, so you won't have the full count that I do. How many do you think that the Sim District GT3 car we look at here has got?
Well, I can see that Scott McFall, since I've joined the session, has 144 off track. So I would imagine we could be seeing quadruple digits here.
Unfortunately not, but there is 712 off tracks apparently from Scott McFall. Now that's an effort in itself, but I'm not sure that's completely accurate, to be honest with you. But either way, it is what it is. Olivier Boulting saying he's going to save his tyres to the last 3 laps. Okay, so he's going to try and go for it right at the death then. We have just over 25 minutes left.
He's going to have a chance here. He's going to get a tow from a Porsche up ahead. Not Porsche. I almost said Lamborghini. Then I said Porsche. It's an Audi. That's the time starting to eat away at my brain. I mean, maybe he can go for it now. He's going to get a huge tow down the Kemmel Straight into Les Comtes. Laurent de Beaufort is going to move over out the way.
He does. This could be it.
He's smashing the lights. This could be it. This could be his attempt at the fastest lap.
It could be. We'll go on board and see what it's like from Scott McFall. Is he just going to go, you know what, stuff it. I'm just going to crack on with it now. That is the chance. That is the chance I've got. I need to do it. So down the hill then towards Bruchet. Down through the gears. 3rd, 2nd. Does he grab first? No, he keeps it in 2nd, so he doesn't have to make the extra change up on the exit. There goes 3rd gear. Is he going to stay in 3rd for No Name? Yes, he is. Tucks it nicely on the inside. Doesn't use too much runoff on the right. Up to 4th gear. All the way up through the revs. 200 Ks into 5th. And a quick dab of the brakes. One little change down maybe through P1. No, keeps it in 5th. This is just me showing exactly why he's quick and I'm not. fifth gear in towards Pith Path. Brakes just as he gets to the bridge. Fourth, down to third, tries to tuck the car into the apex, carry as much speed as possible, manage the weight transfer, use the curb to help pivot the car in, run wide on the exit, up to fourth gear, straight back down to third as you go through the first of the two corners that me and Ed still can't decide the names of, through the second one, flat out round here. Yep, you betcha, up through fourth gear, again 200 Ks up into fifth. 16 incidents between them in this race so far.
Look how tight he's the white lines. He is absolutely going for every inch here, Chaz.
He is indeed, right to the white line at Blanchimont. Chucks it through to the left. He's sounded flat through there. That's mad. All the way up to the final chicane. Wait for the white line. He's so much later than the white line on the brakes. Really throwing it in his Scott McFall. He's not done any more purple sectors by the look of it, but let's see what this is like when he comes across the line. Use all of the green stuff on the exit. Goes across to the left. It's a 2:15.174 to beat. Oh, it's a 2:15.5 after all that. But wow, what a lap that was. That was a great ride with Scott McFall. I hope you enjoyed that, everybody. Wow.
Yes, and I don't think that'll be the last time we go on board with him. We'll keep our eyes open for the sector times. As soon as we see something purple flash up in you, Chaz, we're going to be on that like a rocket to try and see. I mean, it was the second lap. He had the first out lap. But the tyres still wouldn't have been up to full temperature there, Chaz. So there's still definitely more to come through from Scott McFall. And I really do believe he could get this fastest lap, you know. It might be close because Olivier Boltzing did put in a stonking 2:15.17. But I think Scott McFall might be able to find that extra little bit of time. It didn't look like he got the best line through the Fanyu chicane, if I'm honest. So definitely areas where he can make up and improve that lap. That's for certain.
Yeah, definitely. All of these drivers, to be fair, when they do laps, they'll be like, oh, if only I could have carried a few more Ks through here, or just, you know, kept the speed up through this part of the circuit. There's always that little bit that you wish you could improve or wish you could just tidy up, you know? And I think we'll have a number of drivers out there tonight that'll be thinking that about even just individual laps over the course of this near 300 lap race. We will complete over 300 laps, as Scott McFall is now on lap 299. He's getting to the final third of this lap and will start lap 300 very, very soon. But wow, 300 laps of Spa Francorchamps has certainly flown by, has it not?
Really have, yeah, and going to see that Jeremy Debova flies past Lucas Romano. Lucas doing the honourable thing and getting out of the way. But still, this has been a brilliant drive from this RP Motorsport Verde car. 5th place in a race that's been marred by incidents to many, many drivers around them. And I mean, themselves as well. Let's not forget at the start of the race, they had a huge moment, didn't they? Coming through Blanchimont. Big damage that saw them taken way, way down the order. They've come back through, recovered brilliantly, and now see themselves in a very strong 5th place and no real threat from behind because Joe Olenbroek, Zenon Esports 1, is likely to make another pit stop and is still already 47 seconds back.
Yeah, don't need to worry too much at this point. I think this is just get the car to the end now, and a lot of the teams will be thinking that. There's 20 minutes or so left to go. 21 minutes as of right now, actually. And that is, what, sprint race distance at best? You know, it's not very long at all, is it?
Not at all. There's plenty of... I mean, these sprint races, you can see a lot happening in those moments, and we could see a lot happen at this stage of the race as well. Jesse Hendricks, 12 seconds back from Jeremy Debova, so that gap has been expanded by the number 4, challenged by DB Audi. Seems to be going very nicely for them as well. Started to get a little bit quicker as Jeremy Debova. We saw that lap times were a little bit slower compared to Scott McFall. That gap was at one stage being expanded by a tune of 3 seconds a lap, but now only 1 second a lap, which, I mean, is a bit ridiculous when you think about it, but it just shows the level that Sim District GT3 are operating at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's just on another level, I have to say it. You know, no disrespect to any of the other teams either, because, you know, they're so quick in themselves, but yeah, it is on another level. It's absolutely nuts. And I mean, it's the reason that they've been so dominant in the championship. You know, we've seen it time and time again and said it time and time again, but it just is how it is. You know, we're not going to beat around the bush about it. You know, everyone already knows that we have no disrespect towards the other teams. You know, we really appreciate what they do. The fact that they turn up and they put out these fantastic performances over such long races. That lead team, though, they are on a different planet, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different planet that is almost alien-like pace, isn't it, Chaz? It's a little bit of what iRacing means, call people that are ridiculously fast aliens, but I mean, that is what they've been doing. The amount of fuel saving, the ability to keep those laps coming through at that pace as well while saving the fuel. It is...
yeah, to do both at once is mad.
From another planet.
Yeah. Definitely. To do both of them at once is just incredible. You know, the ability that they must have to just churn those laps out at that pace is just great. You know, really, really great. And hats off to them. You know, they've kept it up, not just through a race like this that's 12 hours long, but they've kept it up the whole season, you know, in terms of 5 other 6-hour races. It's just been amazing. Absolutely amazing. And they've only got 18.5 minutes left to keep that up as of now. Yeah,
it's all about keeping it up, really. You've done all of the hard work for 11 hours and 41 minutes. It's just the final 20 minutes to go to keep this up. And Jeremy DeBove, challenged by DB. I think it's fair to say, Chaz, second place, this is going to be their best finish, and what a time to do it right at the final round of the season when you get double points.
Yeah, indeed. You know, they've had a 3rd place finish. They've had a 6th place finish. They've had 2 10th places and an 11th. So, a bit of an inconsistent run, but to come away from this one and finish second where you do, like you say, get them double points. 34 points for this race alone they will score. So far in the championship, they have 50. So that will go down very, very well indeed, I'm sure. And I look forward to potentially hearing what the guys have to say as well. And we will try and get a word with our very own Ian Roots a little bit later as well. See whether he can jump on and say hello. I'll see whether we can get him in for a chat once the checkered flag has dropped. But either way, again, I just want to say a big thanks to everybody before we do actually finish the race. I do want to say thanks to everybody that's watched so far throughout this one and every broadcast here on Simracersworld TV. You know, it's been an absolute joy, and Ed and I between us have done a hell of a lot of broadcasts and commentary. And to be honest, it's been a bit of an emotional one, you know, knowing that it's all sort of coming to a close. The Discord will remain to exist for a bit, but then eventually it will all move over. There'll just be a broadcast booth over in Nevo, and you know, whoever is doing the broadcasting, whether it be me or one of the other guys, you know, where they will have their own individual Discord to just pass out information and project files and whatever else. And that's how it's going to be, I'm afraid. Porsche Sport still getting sentimental, honestly. I hope you are giving Neville a good cuddle there, mate, because it's been a very sentimental day. But look at that through the night. Yeah. Look at that Lambo. I mean, there's not much to be seen of it because I've turned my contrast up way, way higher than I probably should do on iRacing. So you probably should be able to see that more. But I mean, if we go on board right now, you get to hear the car, you can see the sky. But look at that. It is certainly not light out there, is it? At least.
Oh god, yeah. And I mean, you mentioned about trying not to get too sentimental, and I've been trying my best to stay away from it. But this, I mean, I think for me, Simracersworld TV and DynamiXX, especially this Endurance Championship, I'll always be able to have memories of it, regardless of where I go. And I mean, I'll definitely have memories of DynamiXX, not just for reasons of the racing, but also from stuff that happened outside of racing. I know, Chaz, you'll always know where you were when we both found out the passing of our dear friend in commentary, Murray Walker, and
yeah,
I have to say, it was almost poetic, wasn't it, that we as commentators that have such, I guess, an inspiration from the great legend that is Murray Walker, that we were commentating when we found out. And I definitely think I'll always remember DynamiXX Racing Simulators and all of the subsequent rounds because of it. because of the situation that we found ourselves in.
Yeah, I think, well, it was certainly an emotional time when when we found out, to say the least. I can, well, very definitely say that I've not been that emotional live on air before. But that was difficult, you know. It was because you do realise, you know, Murray was an inspiration to us, and we're doing what we love because of him, and we're doing it when we find out. You know, we were 3 hours away from the end of a broadcast there, so we had to suck it up and carry on. That was just over a year ago as well, 13th of March 2021, and we were covering this championship as well. It was Imola in the DynamiXX Endurance Series. And that
had to be Imola, didn't it? A track that's already had its fair share of sad days in motorsport. But, wow, I mean, I'll always have memories from Simracersworld TV, that's for certain. Some sweet, some bittersweet, but memories that I'll always hold on to, that's for certain.
And yeah, Olivier saying it is sad that a broadcast channel like this will stop and carry on under another name. I'm afraid that the channel itself will remain. It will be here on YouTube, but unfortunately there will be no more broadcasts here on this channel. A lot of the series have been sort of deferred to either my YouTube channel or others who will be broadcasting the events that once were on Simracersworld TV. And we hope that you will join us for those. I'm sure that the friends and colleagues of yours in the community will point you in the right direction to wherever the wonderful broadcasts are. And, you know, we've had a fantastic team of people here. Just to name a few, you know, there's been, well, me and Ed, as you have us right now, the wonderful Hasse Raymer, Jack Johns, Bart Daleman behind the scenes as well, helping out, sorting everything. Obviously, Ian Roots, the star that he is. Jack Oliphant as well. Joe Peake even came over from GSRC, which was great to have. Marcus Yesdal, who you heard earlier. Seb Hebera as well, Sebastian Hebera, another absolute star of Simracersworld, organising a lot behind the scenes. And the incredible Peter Mackay as well. Fantastic to have such a very strong team. You know, not a ridiculously big team either here at Simracersworld, Ed, but it's been such a great little sort of close-knit family, you know, the way we've all worked together. It's been so cool to be a part of it because, you know, we're still bringing out the broadcasts that we enjoy and everybody enjoys them as well, you know. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, it's been great to have so many familiar faces that I know from outside of Simracersworld TV when I joined in. I mean, I was brought in and didn't really know anybody, and then all of a sudden my good mate Jack Oliphant was brought into the fold, and I have to say it's been great to get to know so many people as well that were part of this and will continue to be part of this great big sim racing family for many years to come, that's for certain. As well, whenever someone from this whole sort of little community that we have, I see them out in the real world doing commentary or going anywhere, I feel a little bit of always pride for them, you know. I feel like, yes, go on, lad. I see Jack Oliphant starting to really get involved in the real life scene for various different bits of commentary that he's doing. I'm feeling very proud for him, and as well for you, Chaz, for all of the various bits of real life stuff you're doing, the trucks, your Clios flying around all the world. And to be honest, it's very well deserved from everybody that's getting the opportunities they are getting in this great big sim racing family that we have.
Nicely said, mate. Nicely said. I'll raise a glass or a plastic bottle of water to that. And I'll have to get the Palinka out a little bit later, I think. Maybe have a shot of Palinka to celebrate the show. Celebrate what has been Simracersworld.
I'm sure Ian would let us do that. I'm not sure
I'll do it on camera, but
no. I look grim at the minute. I'm not going to turn on my webcam.
It's all good, mate. It is all good. It's a Saturday night, and we've got Scott McFall. No. I've just opened Trading Paints by accident. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I tried to click OBS just to check something, and yeah, it opened Trading Paints. Then again, all the cars are complete silhouettes because it's dark. But Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports are on their way to a title, and Porsche Sport already congratulating them in the chat. They have been absolutely amazing. 10 minutes left to go here in this championship. 10 minutes left to go on Simracersworld TV, and we will hopefully get some word from drivers, personnel and all sorts at the end. And we'll see what everybody has thought about all of this going on as well, and how they've enjoyed it, what they've made of the series, what they've made of the channel, everything. You know, we'll try and get as many thoughts and questions in as we can. Scone, whatever, you know, all of that. We'll
Chocolate in the fridge.
Yeah, that's the important one. That is the important one. And yeah, Olivier Bultink there sharing the opinion that we all have, that, you know, we're gutted that Porsche Sport couldn't complete this race. We were hoping for a really good fight between them and some of the top guys in the series. Maybe be a bit of a spoiler in the pack, but unfortunately that just didn't come to be after the early accidents and the fact that they were going to pull the car from the race anyway. You know, they're racing in the Nürburgring 24 hours this evening. But again, there's your brake discs glowing on the back of the Porsche. It's getting that dark. It's actually hard to tell whereabouts on the circuit they are, isn't it, actually? I know that's Piff Paff coming into Campus. Or is it Campsa? I can't remember.
Campus and Stavolo, I think.
Yeah.
I have it in that order, but some people have that last corner as the
Stavolo 2.
curve pull Frere, although I have that right-hand bend after Stavolo as pull Frere.
Ah, okay.
And then this is obviously Blanchimont, a corner that we've seen so many drivers fall victim to, but now the track's gotten a little bit cooler. The cars are a little bit more stable through there and can take it pretty much flat out now.
Mm. Yeah, indeed. Now I'm wondering, do we get fireworks at Spa?
I don't know.
I don't know if we do. I hope we do. We've just had a moment for Pepijn Mertens. Whoa! Car goes one way, then the other. Oh, that's a big hit into the wall. The car didn't look damaged from what I could see of it, but
Rear
yeah.
end's completely trunked in, I think, there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it looked like it may have been crabbing a little bit as well there. Joel Eulenbroek has come in the Zenom car, so they're not making it to the end on the current fuel they've got. This will be a very, very quick stop. Just a couple of seconds worth of fuel, I am sure. Let's see how long they're stationary for. 8 seconds, 9, 10. He's building the revs up. 10.7 seconds, and he is away to complete this race. And like you said before, Lucas Romano and the RP Motorsport Verde team, they don't need to worry at this point because they had a big advantage over them anyway. It's about 1.5 minutes now. So they look to be home and dry in 5th place. They've just got to keep it on the island. Jesse Hendricks doesn't look like he can do much about Jeremy Debova either, unfortunately, and it's very much night time right now. We'll go on the nose cam so you can see a little bit more of the circuit and at least see that the sky is there, but we will probably just stay on board with cars now until the end, unless we see the wonderful, wonderful fireworks at the end, and see whether we can get them on board with Scott McFall in the Sim District Lamborghini. 7 minutes to go. Unfortunately, the Tri-Racing Porsche has had to come into the pits, so that damage clearly a bit too much for them to carry on in the current state.
Hope it fixes before the end of the race, before checkered flag falls. Required repairs, just get that over and done with as soon as possible and bring around the car till the end of the race, please, because it's the least they deserve. They've been having such a valiant fight, haven't they, at this stage? It'd be a shame for them not to greet that checkered flag come the end of the race. But on a lighter note, Chaz, I can't wait to see Scott McFall really turn that pace up now we approach the final 6 minutes of running. Essentially 3 laps, isn't it, for Sim District GT3 to try and take, or well, not to take, but for Scott McFall rather to take the fastest lap honours for this race.
Yeah, he's just going up towards Blanchimont here. Flat out all the way up the hill. He's going to cross the line with about 5.5 minutes left to go.
So that'll be 3 laps.
Yeah, indeed. And he will push, push, push. It looks like he's just making up his own route out of the darkness here, doesn't it? To be honest with you.
You can see inside as well the sort of the blue glow from the inner lights.
Yeah, I like that. It used to be a lot brighter on the Ferraris as well, actually, that glow. We'll go on board. And then again, it's behind us, so you can't really see too much of it. Didn't sound like it wanted to grab a gear there. Really drops down. And look at that view there down the hill. Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? Absolutely lovely view.
Wonderful purple sky as he comes down to the bottom. Eau Rouge, keeping it flat. Just a minor lift as he comes up to the crest at Radion. Carrying the speed down through the Kemmel Bend, down the Kemmel Straight now in towards Lake Combe. Is he started to turn up the pace, or is he going for it? He's going for it, says Olivier Bultink. So this is it, Chaz. It will be full send right up until the end of the race. Hard onto the brakes, down to third gear, over the curb, lovely on the inside there to really open up the rest of Draycott and into Malmedy. Careful on the exit to not get the off track, runs it perfectly, inch perfect by Scott McFall, down into Bruce Tell now. Hard down into second gear, keeps it nice and tight, picks up the throttle just on the right hand side. There's a little marker, a green sort of orangey marker you can use to your advantage down through Speaker's Corner again. Carries the momentum into third gear, down into P1 where we were astonished that he was keeping it in fifth gear. He'll do the same here, really sending it into the corner, just kisses the apex, avoid that curve on the inside because it is very dangerous. Can unsettle the car onto the exit. Really opens the steering to stop the scrub of the tyres. Now, can he get to the inside nice and early into third gear? Yes, really well done there to open up the left-hander and carry that momentum all the way down in towards Campus and Stavolo. Third gear, power on as early as you can to use the runoff area flat out through the right-hander of Stavolo. And then the long run, Chaz, down towards Blanchimont. Flat out, you would expect Scott McFall now.
Yeah, absolutely nailing it on the right-hand side. Over to the left, runs over the white line a little bit. You could hear it rub against the tyre. Sounds like barely a lift through Blanchimont. There was certainly still some throttle on there. Under the little Bridgestone marker, there is the white line. He gets it slowed down nicely. Misses the apex slightly there at the bus stop, but that tells me
that he's going for it now.
Yeah, he's getting the run out of the final corner, and off he goes again. Starts another hot lap. There were no purple sectors partway around that one, so we'll have to come back to him. Thomas Layson has unfortunately had an issue, just lit up the rears and, well, decides to carry on putting his foot in as he comes out of the corner as well. But he just had that little spin there. Scott McFall now is pushing. Can he hit these purple sectors, though, without slipstream, Ed? What do you reckon?
I don't know, can he even hit them in the dark? It's easy, but it's in the daytime because you can see your rate markers a lot easier. I think it becomes a lot harder in the dark to try and come through, as Porsche supports say the last spin of Simracersworld. Not sure he'll want that honour though. Maybe someone needs to go out there and get another spin through. Come on, don't you want to have that honour, Luke? Come on, go out there, do one final spin.
Do some donuts, Luke. Get on with it.
You want the honours of doing the last donuts, the last pit exit of Simracersworld. Yeah, come on, mate.
The last pick, he's already written it. Oh, that's brilliant. Meanwhile, Jeremy DeBover's done a personal best sector too, but Scott McFall, no purple sectors or anything yet. So we're still waiting to see whether he can improve even further on this time. But, you know, he might put a bit too much pressure on himself here. He might push a little bit too hard. We're into the last 2 minutes of the race now, so they've got this one. They've got this one McChallenge by DB do a personal best. They're showing they're interested in going for this as well. 2:16.6. Great time in itself, but when you consider the 2:15.1 of these boys, that's absolutely ridiculous. But still, 2:16.6 is the best lap, I think, by anyone else. No, Romano's actually done a 2:16.4, so that's the second fastest lap of the race.
Flemish Simswatch did a 2:16.2.
Oh, they have, yeah. Sorry, I read that as 8.2 for some reason. My lazy eye let me down. Right then, the last off track of Simracersworld, apparently, says Porsche Sport. Oh, I love it, mate. Honestly, the banter is good. But this means now, Ed, we are coming on to the final lap of the 12 hours of Spa Francorchamps, the final lap of the DynamiXX Racing Simulators Endurance Series, and the final lap of action on Simracersworld TV.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's make it a good one.
Okay, let's make it a good one, Scott. We're going to go on board with you. I think you get the honours here of taking us through the final lap. Look at that. The white flag being waved. This is it, Chaz. Final time. He's overshot it.
Oh,
massively.
Scott.
Come on, Scott.
Yeah, but does that give him the run on the exit?
I don't think so, unfortunately, Chaz. I think that might be his attempt at fastest lap already over, sadly. The last mistake, the last overshoot into La Source.
Oh man, listen to this flipping Lamborghini go. Oh my life, it makes a hell of a racket, doesn't it? Listen to it scream. 250 Ks as we go up the hill at Kemmel. You really underestimate how steep a hill this is. And then we're going to go harder to the brakes at the curb into Draycott. And Malmedy in itself is a big challenge, isn't it, Ed, when you're flicking this mid-engine car one way then the other.
The weight transfer is so difficult to balance. The rear end loves to try and step out on you if it gets the chance to. Look at that. Monstering his way over the exit curbs. He is properly attacking it. On the inside, you can just see that little orange marker is when you can start to pick up the throttle without having it oversteer or understeer on you. It's nice and stable at that point. Look at that, he's fighting the car on the exit. He might still be going for this, you know, Chaz. He didn't run very wide through La Source, but look at how aggressively he's taking these corners. Down into 4th gear now through P1 instead of 5th. Quickly shifting up into 5th now just to keep the car stable when he applies the power onto the exit into pit path. You really want to turn in and get over that right-hand curb to open out the left-hander, which isn't quite able to do this. So I don't think it will be a fastest lap from Scott McFall, but still a nice way to attack this final lap, this final sector, Chaz. And I'll tell you what, you can do the honours. You can bring us through for the end of this amazing Dynamics Racing Simulator season.
Thank you very much, Ed. Only a couple more corners lie before Scott McFall and Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports. They won the first round of the championship, the second, third, fourth and fifth round of the championship, and what they're going to do here is nothing short of remarkable. Through the chicane for the final time, your DynamiXX Endurance champions are Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports. A clean sweep of the championship, a clean sweep of the 12 hours of Spa, and what an amazing achievement that is. What an incredible, incredible drive, what an incredible championship, and what a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere to round out the season. Now, who is going to be next across the line? Well, it is in fact going to be Joe Leulenbroek in the Zenom Esports 1 Lamborghini. They're going to finish the race in 6th position. Oh, he's overshot the chicane at the very end as well, but he's not going to care. They're going to get the race done. 6th place for them, a very, very strong result. Next up is going to be Pepijn Mertens in the Porsche, the tri-racing machine. He's going to make his way into the bus stop. Now, you can hear the fireworks going off. Don't know where on earth they'll be, but either way, it's certainly going to be a sight for sore eyes. But here comes Pepijn Mertens across the line, completing what is, I believe, his debut for tri-racing. And, well, there is your race winner and eventual champion, Scott McFall, doing some wonderful donuts. And second place, though, Ed, is going to go the way of McChallenge by DB. What a drive this has been as well.
Yeah, a stunning performance by McChallenge by DB. And with this second place finish, they secure 3rd place in the championship. They had a brilliant 3rd place finish in Hockenheim, let's not forget, with a brilliant battle, didn't they, between themselves and Porsche Sport in the closing stages. And they secure, or rather snatch almost, essentially, 3rd place in the championship, thanks to misfortunes befalling other drivers. They were there when it counted. The double points here at Spa working in their favour. Only just ahead of Flemish Sim Sports in the end of things. And Jesse Hendricks for Dynamics Racing Pink. They come up to the chicane for the final time. They will see the checkered flag greet them, and they will now know that they have secured 2nd place in the championship, which is a stunning feat from them, considering the dominance from Sim District GT3 to fight through and take 2nd place in a very competitive field. That is really, really good stuff from Dynamics Pink. They didn't always qualify well, but when it came to the racing, they were always on point.
They were indeed, and the final car across the line, Robin van Gogh, finishes in 4th position for the other Sim District machine. That's a fantastic comeback. But there are your champions, everybody. Scott McFall and Olivier Bultink, the wonderful team that is Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports. And look at all this lot as well. We're going to see some more donuts, I think, from Scott, are we? Although the car's doing next to no revs, so I think he's just using it as a bit of a soapbox right now to go down the hill. And look at that by Jeremy DeBova, doing donuts of his own there. Fantastic stuff. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Well, I'm going to try and take it back to the checkered flag, see if we can get a shot of these fireworks. See whether we can trigger it. I'll see if you can even just see them when they cross the line here in the Lamborghini, because it's always nice to get a shot of the fireworks, is it not? But this was the moment that Scott McFall crossed the line from on board, flashing the lights, weaving nice and gently one way then the other down the straight. And what a fantastic drive it was by the pair of them. They're going to be so over the moon with that as well, aren't they? I mean, there you go. There's the fireworks. Lovely. We'll actually probably get that from, if we go here. I'll stuff it. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm going to try. Oh, no, I can't do it because I can't press Control D. Oh, I can't get the fireworks in on the right-hand side of the shot. I'm so sorry. Unless we do this. No? No, it's not going to work. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry. I'm trying for you. I'm trying for you. But we have our result, and, well, listen to that racket being made by that car there. Let's run you through some race results, shall we, everybody? Final round of the season. Sim District GT3 by Vibe BMS Esports take the championship, 2 laps clear of everybody else. McChallenge by DB finished second, with Dynamics Pink rounding out a very strong podium. Sim District by BMS Esport NL finishing 4th place after a great recovery drive, with RP Motorsport Verde in 5th. It is then Zenom Esports in 6th, Flemish Sim Sports in 7th. They will not be too chuffed with that result, to be fair, after how well they were going early on. Tri Racing finishing 8th, though. That's a great, strong finish for them. Good points to round out their season. And then, unfortunately, the cars that either just about made it to the end or didn't quite complete the race. The McChallenge by DB Audi number 10 did finish the race, actually, in the end. They did cross the line after completing 187 laps. Decimo BE, Zenom Esports 2, Team Tice, and Porsche Sport did not complete the event. Well, we need to go back a bit of time, I think, to say the least. We'll go back to... Let's maybe go back a good... Well, this is going to take us back about 3 hours, so do bear with it, everybody, because this replay may take some time. But look, it's daylight. It's wonderful, wonderful daylight out there. And we actually have 2 drivers in for an interview, and we must congratulate Scott McFall and Olivier Bultink. Guys, that was an amazing championship, an amazing run through from the very start of the entire season. How do you feel right now? Starting with you, Scott. You know, you're the one that crossed the line and managed to finish that race, get it all done at the end. You must be a really happy bunny.
Yeah, it was a good season overall, I'd say, for the team. Can't really complain with it. Managing to win in each round, it was a added bonus to it. But yeah, it's been enjoyable. It's always good with the commentary for the broadcast team, the live coverage and everything else as well that goes with it. It makes it that wee bit more enjoyable as well to take part in.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy that as well, mate. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And to win the final championship as well, Olivier, that has been broadcast here on Simracersworld TV, it's a little honour in itself for you guys, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a bit of an honor, but also a little bit sad because a channel like this gonna stop doing broadcasts. It's a bit sad, but I'm happy I have been part of some races you did broadcast, so that's really good.
Well, thank you very much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Well, where to start? I mean, when did you start thinking about winning the championship, Scott? Was it after that first race win when it seemed to go swimmingly most of the way through, or was it about halfway through the season? Where did that sort of start to kick in?
I think it was probably after the first couple of rounds. We were a bit on edge to see obviously where it was going to go, what the competition was like. Obviously there was some other strong drivers on the field, but after maybe probably about the second, third round, we kind of started the rolling joke, let's try and win every sort of round if we can. We didn't actually think it would have happened, of course, but here we are now and it's all worked out pretty well.
You can say that again. I mean, the Lamborghini looked like a very, very solid car to be in all season. Would you agree, Olivier, or was it a bit of a pig at certain points?
Well, at some tracks it was a bit a pain in the ass because it's really bad on the curbs. It jumps all around. But we did so much work, Scott and me, on setups and try a lot of things to calm the car down. And tried a lot of things and it worked out. And the good thing is we both are very close on pace.
Yeah,
so that's really good.
I was going to say, Ed and I were talking about that near the end of the race there. The fact that, you know, you get these teams where you have one driver that's really fast and then maybe a driver that's a good second and a half off the pace and they can't quite stick with them. But I think with seeing you two like that, you know, so close on the pace and at such a high pace as well, being able to save the fuel no matter what you're doing, you know, it always looked like you were in control of that. Did it feel that way, Scott, or was there a little bit of doubt in your mind at certain points?
No, it felt okay. I think the biggest thing that threw me and Olivier, to be honest, was the iRacing update that came along midway through the season. But other than that, we just kept on at it, kept working at it. At times, each of us had our own mistakes. But we always kind of picked ourselves up and kept pushing on as much as we could with it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you have to keep pushing and got to be in it to win it, which is a phrase I've used, to be fair, way too many times today. But I suppose, well, again, it is what it is, which is another phrase that I've used way too many times today. Ed's probably sick of hearing that one by now, but you've done a mega job all season, guys. It's been an absolute joy. Starting with you, Olivier, is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to while we've got you for the final time?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Scott for his good pace, and it's awesome to work together with him. Great feedback, everything. I want to thank Stefan, the team owner of Sim District. Then I want to thank the sponsor, Sim District itself, and then the Vibe team, Scott, and all the guys behind the scenes. And I also want to thank the second team, the Audi team, for their great effort and good results. And I want to thank you guys for the perfect broadcast. So it's really enjoyable, really fun to watch. So thank you for that.
No worries, Olivier. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you, mate, and it's been great to watch you guys. Scott, any thanks from you?
Yeah, just much the same. I'd like to also thank my teammate for spending the time and listening to my moaning about the setups throughout the course of the season. Obviously, the teams are sort of collaborating together from the Sim District guys with the Vibe team, so I'd like to thank both teams there and both teams' sponsorships. And again, obviously for yourselves for the broadcast and the amount of hard work you guys have put in for behind the scene as well to keep everything going for the viewers. And hopefully we'll pass right cross again in some other events.
Hopefully so, mate. Hopefully so. It's been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen. Go and enjoy your championship and chill out in whatever way you can, celebrate in whatever way you can. You are the DynamiXX Endurance Series champions, guys. Well done, and have a great evening.
Thank you. You two guys have a great evening.
Lovely, lovely stuff. Great to always speak to newly crowned champions, isn't it, Ed? And I mean, it seems like a bit of a moment where the guys might be slightly lost for words there, to be honest with you. And it's hardly surprising, is it? Because, you know, well, you could say, oh, it's only 6 rounds. They're 6 really difficult rounds, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult in any situation. These endurance-style championships do take so much out of you. You can go time and time again. You put so much effort, not just on the circuit on race day, but also behind the scenes. You have no idea how much goes into actually getting these results and to perform at the high level that these two drivers have done. Olivier Baltink and Scott McFall, they have to be putting in effort weeks in advance to get the setup dialed in where they're both comfortable and to work out, right, how long does the fuel last? How and where can we save fuel? What are the tyres going to be doing? And how can we look after those the best that we can? And they have been a real credit to this championship. And I hope to see plenty more of them in various championships in the future. I mean, I've had the joy of seeing them in the virtual bell car that myself and Hasselroma are broadcasting. So I'll be looking forward to what they have in store for us in the coming months, that's for certain.
Yeah, you and me both, mate. Really do look forward to seeing what we can do. And obviously, we've been a bit sentimental here today, everybody, but it's about time for the very final interview that we will do here on Simracersworld TV. And of course, there's only one person that we can really speak to about that, and that is the wonderful Ian Roots. Ian, it's a pleasure to have you back in the box with us, mate. It's been a while since you've been in a commentary box, I imagine, but it's great to see you. How are you doing?
Good evening, gentlemen. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really well, thank you. It is a sad day for sure. It's been a journey and a half. Just beyond the wildest dreams, really, to be honest. I started a long time ago with Simracersworld. It seems like a lifetime ago. I think it was 2015. So it's getting on for 7 years. Blood, sweat, and tears. But yes, come to an end today, and I don't want it to be a sad day. It's a day for reflection. It's a day for memories. It's a day for celebration, really. It's the start of a new journey for Nevo, which is Bart Dowman's project, as you know. And I'm sure he's doing, and he will be doing, a very good job, and just carrying on the legacy, really, to be honest. Yes, it's got a different name, but all the people are the same, the faces are the same, you know, the teams are the same. So it's not much different, it's just a different name. But yeah, it's been a blast.
It really has. And I mean, Ed and I were reminiscing a lot earlier about different highlights and different moments in broadcasts that we've really enjoyed over the last few years in particular. Were there any highlights that spring to mind for you over the course of the last few years that we've enjoyed together?
Well, there's, to be honest, there's far too many to mention.
Yeah.
But obviously, as a team, snagging the Belcar series back in the middle of lockdown in 2020 was obviously a massive boost for the channel, and still continue to have fantastically large audiences, and they're a very passionate bunch, as you know, these Belgians and Dutch. They've been a mainstay of the Simracersworld TV, to be honest. You know, the ties that we have with Belgium and Holland are amazing, and lifelong friendships have been made. But yeah, Belcar, Porsche Club GB, Porsche Club Esports, they're fantastic series, the pair of them, as you know, and you and Peter have covered the Porsche, and everybody's had a go at the Belcar with the longer races, and obviously the 24 hours.
Yeah.
The first 24 hours you guys did covering that was absolutely amazing. The viewing figures for that were through the roof, something we'd never seen before. And yeah, there's so much to mention though, Chaz, really, to be honest. There's so many memories. The special one-off events we've had, and Ed will tell you the 2.4 hours of the Nordschleife that we do every winter, every Christmas, they have been absolutely amazing. The racing of those has been absolutely second to none. The TCRs, the list goes on. It was a silly idea that someone wanted to start their own channel in Simracersworld, and look how far we've come, and it's been fantastic. But having said that, it wouldn't have been possible, first of all, without the sponsorships and the partnerships that we made along the way. And I'm going to mention them all. I hope you don't mind. But
no,
I kind of
go ahead.
It all started with Jochen at Dynamics. He's been the mainstay he's been the backbone of SRW, really, to be honest. We've met before a couple of times in Belgium, and he's a great guy, and he's got a fantastic business, and he works with Thies, and what those guys do for sim racing in Belgium is second to none, and they've been there since almost day one. So I just want to say thanks to Jochen and his team. Fantastic. I can't forget Abruzzi. They've also been there almost since day one as well. And obviously, Chaz, you've got close ties with Ben now, and they're an amazing team as well. Definitely. But along the way, we picked up Porsche Sport. Obviously, we can't forget Luke and his team there. We've had some fantastic events with those. The 2 hours of Silverstone being kind of the big highlight when we was in lockdown, and that had some amazing figures and some amazing names that have gone on to become esports champions since then. We've had who else did we pick up along the way? Sim Stickers, obviously they're still around. They're still partnering Bart and his new team, and they are a local company to me, and they've been fantastic as well. Simortal, we can't forget, is it Michael, I think, if I remember off the top of my head?
Blake.
Yeah, Michael Blake at Simortal. He's been absolutely fantastic as well, and I've actually got one of his models here. They're absolutely amazing. So if you don't know about Michael and his models, then you need to check him out at Simortal, because amazing stuff there.
Definitely.
Just Z1 Dashboard, they came on board for a while. Grid Finder, and I know you know those guys as well, Chaz.
Very recently.
Very, very recently. So we've had some amazing people along the way. I've made some amazing friends, but none of it would have happened without you guys. The team at Simracersworld TV, yourself, Ed, Hassa, Jack, the other Jack as well, both the Jacks, everybody, Joe that stepped in during the summer last year when we were really struggling, Marcus, and Hassa, the wonderful Hassa. Everybody loves Hassa.
Mate, he's a star.
such a character, and I know he's not been well and what have you, but he has been one of the backbones of SRW, and covered a lot of stuff for me last year. And obviously Peter's gone on to do massive things, like yourself, Chaz, real world commentator, has gone on to do big things. And I just want to thank all of you. That's everybody. That's not just you guys, not just the partnerships, the teams that have raced, but that's all the drivers, everybody that's been involved with Simracersworld since the beginning. Just thank you, because none of it would have happened without you.
Definitely.
I mean, likewise, mate. Definitely.
Yeah.
I've been glad to have been brought into this fold. I will admit, when I sent you the message back in, what was it, mid-2020, when I said, oh, you're looking for commentators, I'd like to be considered in. I never expected to get in, if I'm brutally honest. It was a complete shot in the dark. I saw the level of people that we had in, and I heard that you were thinking about bringing Peter Mackay, and I was like, oh, that's it for me then. There's Peter Mackay, there's no chance for me in here. But, mate, thank you so much for bringing me in, and I have to say, as soon as I ever get any amount of real world commentary, you will be the first person I'm going to send a Discord message to thank. Honestly, it's been wonderful to be part of this.
And you'll be on the ticket list.
Yeah. No, thanks, guys. You know, like I say, you know, it's been a blast. I don't want it to be a sad day. Yes, it's the end of an era, but it's the start of something new.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys, I know you guys are going to carry on partnerships with Bart. And his team, and you're covering stuff already for him, which is fantastic. And it's the end of an era, but the start of something new.
It certainly is, Ian, and I mean, to extend my thanks as well. You know, the career I've made out of commentary started with, you know, all the ties that we had here. You know, I was working elsewhere before Simracersworld TV, but what really gave me the bounce to do that was obviously jumping in with the broadcasting as well, and it really rolled the whole product into one for me, and it's been absolutely fantastic, especially with the fact that, you know, I could do the first broadcast here on the channel and then round it out by completing the final one as well, doing the whole thing all the way through. It's been an absolute joy, and honestly it has been a real pleasure, and I'm sure everybody will echo the sentiment as well in the chat. Final words though, just to round us out, because to be honest, I'll leave it up to you, Ian, and we will bow out. I want to say thank you though on behalf of me and Ed May. I tell you what, actually, any words from you, Ed, and then Ian can round us out and do the honours.
No, I just want to say thank you everyone who's ever commented, subscribed, done anything to engage with us here on Simracersworld. Everyone that's ever raced in a championship that we've broadcast, you've been part of an amazing journey for all of us. And yep, I will happily bow out knowing that we've had a brilliant time, both myself and Chaz. And say what, Ian, take us away.
Well, what more can I say? Just literally, it's a huge thank you from absolutely everybody that's been involved with Simracersworld. Like I say, again, it's not a sad day. It's just the start of a new beginning. And I just wish everybody the best of health, the best of luck. And yeah, just enjoy your sim racing. Thank you.
Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome.